back to CrossCourt Conversations. Today, we'll be discussing what's the subject? Cultivating the Hmong Volleyball youth. On our panel, we got Daniel Vu. What's up, Daniel?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me, man.
Daniel Vu plays for Team Critical, J4 champ. You play middle, right? I want to say you play middle.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then we got Tou Xue. Welcome back, Tou Xue.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me on, man.
Tou Xue is the setter for Team Critical. You got two teammates here. And then we got OG of the OGs.
not the OG, man. The young buck of the OGs.
The contract says we owe him 8 hours. He's in his 6 hour right now. So
I'll try to go direct to the point. No diverting on that.
Man, it's truly a blessing to kind of come together like this. Just shows you what technology can help us accomplish. But I want to thank you guys stepping up and coming on and discussing this controversial subject. I don't think it's too controversial. I think there's just a little pushback on the subject. But what got us here was I think Tou Xue's post on Hmong Volleyball Community page on Facebook. I think he posted a quote saying, "The quickest way to kill a hobby is for the veterans to be total jerks to the newbies. If you want things to flourish, you have to invite and encourage new folks getting into it." So this is, and just to put a little context to it, this is not like anything that it's not, Tou Xue's not trying to push buttons or whatnot. I think this is a subject that has been an ongoing discussion amongst the Hmong Volleyball. This is just recent, that's all. And we kind of wanted to get Tou Xue, and then I think Daniel was very vocal on that thread. And then we wanted to get OG Leng in here. All three of these guys, I think at one time or currently are coaches, right? I want to say. So it's great to have them on and get their perspective. Yeah. But I would let's throw it to Tou Xue. Tou Xue, what went behind posting that? Did you just wanted to piss some people off, or you just or what went behind that?
Well, the intention is to get some awareness out, not to make enemies or anything. It's just attention. I'm actually thinking, I wish that a lot of our veterans or guys who's been done it, I think they're not aware that they're being jerks to our players, and they just wanted to bring it to attention to some players or whoever, Yeah. What's your guys' thoughts about?
Yeah. I mean, on that note, I just like to go around, and just ask everybody, their own experiences, right. Like what you guys kind of came up, your vets, like how did they treat you, or how did you get introduced to the volleyball game, and did the vets that you had to deal with, did it work? I mean, pros and cons and whatnot, Can you talk a little bit? Yeah, we'll go around and have each of you guys talk a little bit about, your vets and if they were jerks or not, or whatever, or if they were positive, effect on you or not. Daniel, let's start with you, Daniel.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so just the first part of your question, obviously, growing up in Fresno, the veterans that I was around were guys from PT, Belong from Up, those guys, just, being a young adult and just watching them dominate the game of volleyball in the Hmong community, that was the experience, just seeing how good they were, the level of intensity they played with, the chemistry that they had as a team. So that's pretty much in Fresno, I think maybe I don't want to speak for everybody, but majority of, the kids who play volleyball in Fresno, they idolize PT, and they set the standard for us. So some pros, again, like they showed us greatness, watching them play, you just see like, and if you ever had the opportunity to watch them play, like they're so poised, they don't get rattled easy. Even when they're down, like they know how to play, dig their way out of situations. And also just the level of play and consistency that they had to dominate for as long as they did. Like that was what they like, they showed me and my teammates just, growing up. And then I mentioned like their team chemistry, man, like they're just like, they're so calm. They just, they never celebrate much, watching them play, but they're just so calm. Like they just watch them play. You just like, man, like this is what it takes to be dominant, to get better. So those are some of the vets that, I my personal experience, growing up, being around, although, to be quite honest, we didn't talk much, like those vets and us, we didn't talk much. And I don't want to say that's a con, but, if I was picky, like, and it goes back to what Tou Xue was saying, like, yeah, they didn't reach out to us, but, I can understand why, it's like, it's nothing personal. Everybody's competitive, you want to dominate, and, when the only time we see each other is like when we're competing. So it's understandable that they're not, quote unquote, coaching us or, giving us advice, and the effect that it had on my growth is like, man, it at times like it's like at times you hate them because they're so good and they just keep beating you, but then at the same time it drove me to like be better, like, hey, like these are the guys that we want to take out, with all due respect, we want to beat them and we know what it's going to take to beat them. So yeah, man, those vets, they just, I mean it's been a crazy ride.
Can I interject? Or
Go ahead, Leng.
oh, so me not knowing Daniel or Tou Xue at all, this is like the first time I'm actually seeing them and talking to them. But what Daniel said right there is like, so was it on you, Daniel, that you took it upon yourself to want to be great, or was it because those guys didn't help you?
It was
PT prime time.
to be honest, it was just myself, and then later on I'll elaborate more about personal growth and individual dedication and holding yourself accountable. But yeah, it's nothing to do with PT. Like I said, they never reached out, or like I said, they never coached us. When I think of a coach, I'm talking about like dedicating like a lot of time to like developing someone, not just like, oh hey, try this, try that. Like anybody can give you like pointers, but right. So just want to clarify that. But yeah, I to answer your question, really, I just took it upon myself. Like, hey, like I want to win at the biggest stage. I know what it takes to win at the biggest stage, and so I just kind of, thankfully, obviously, a lot of things came to play too, like finding the right team, having the right teammates, and at the right moment too. So, but yeah,
time is everything, man.
Yeah, timing's everything. But it really just as an individual player, like you can't help others, especially on the court, if you can't help yourself. If you can't carry your own weight, then you're dead weight. So I take it upon myself to just to get better, and I'm still not that great, to be honest. I'm just still trying.
Damn, dang. He would have fit in perfect in our generation.
Daniel, did you have any veterans that had hands-on like contact with you, like training you and helping you out?
To be honest, no. But when I first started playing, I wasn't playing with Critical yet. I played with my own team at that time. We call ourselves Team Legit. We're just a bunch of young cats, 18, 19. But then we had a older guy, like a big bro. He's actually, his name is Paul, but he's actually the younger brother of Sean from Primetime. Mm-hmm. So he was playing with us, and he was mentoring us a lot, and just giving us pointers and kind of just showing us the game, you know, because we were a bunch of like indoor high school volleyball players. And we didn't know any better. Like, you know, we didn't know the outdoor game because it's very different. Right. So, you know, he was just there coaching us, giving us pointers and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say he was like one of the few who really like was engaged in trying to upbring us as a team. Yeah. So
your first contact is basically in high school then? Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, man. I mean, my high school coach just taught me a lot of discipline, you know. So kudos to those guys. They like, yeah, they didn't. Now looking back, like, yeah, they didn't know as much as we thought they did, you know. But man, like in terms of just building that system and you know making us buy in and being disciplined and dedicated, like, yeah, I owe it to them, man.
That structure, you need that structure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tou Xue, you want to speak on your kind of your experience with any vets and pros and cons, or?
Man. Yeah, I mean, shoot, I started. I mean, I'm just a couple years away from Daniel, but I started way back, you know, when I was 14, 15. Fortunately, to play with the end of the veterans, maybe around Leng's area age, you know. You know, you get all those the late 90s and early 2000 vets, you know. My experience of there was a lot of negative reinforcement, I'm assuming, about that. I think that's how they were taught, and that's how they taught me. And I mean, not in a bad way, you know. I actually learned a lot from it through that way, you know, the tough love. Yeah. But you know, the negative part is, I think if I didn't learn how to humble myself up, I would have been a jerk ass player too myself, because I believe, really strongly believe, the more negative you are, the more negative you create as a mentor. You're going to mentor somebody. You're going to really mentor them in the negative way, of not the way to go. You know. But I mean, yeah, I mean that's some cons to it. The pros is, I mean, my obsess to beat them. My obsession to beat them.
Yes.
My obsessed to be better than they were. It drive me. It gave me a drive.
Can you elaborate on that negativity, like in what form?
You know, I mean, just kind of say be soft, but you know, like just little words like, hey, you know, you one mistake, you're playing ballpark and you shank a pass as a rookie. You're like, what the hell did you do that for? Like, come on, like what the hell? Those negative reinforcements that, you know, and I get it that, you know, at that time they see the game way different from how I was seeing the game, you know, right? Or you know, like not letting you play, you shag the ball. No, you gotta earn your stripes, kind of, you know, and or you're having guys saying out there and just telling me, you straight up fucking suck. Get out.
Oh, come on, man. That's just love right there.
Man. Oh man.
Yeah, you know,
all love right there.
Yeah. And you know, like, I mean, I get it. You know, it is tough love. That's how they're raised. You know, but I mean, yeah, stuff like that. You know, it has its pros and cons. You know, I definitely it gave me a exception to want to be good, be better than they are. To beat them, the obsession to beat them was the drive.
So again, it was self-motivating.
Yeah, it was
right?
self-motivating.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I could easily just say, "Oh, screw this." You know,
it
wasn't my first sport. You know, I played basketball before, and so I'm like, I could go back.
You just like all of us, man. You just like Will Payne and myself. But I was more like Daniel, man. Football is my first love.
Yeah, you know, it at one point would have, you know, if I didn't have that thick skin, being raised by the tough parents, you know, I think I would have easily walked away from the game. Especially getting yelled at strangers that you don't even know, you know. Just some pickup ball, and they're yelling shit at. I'm a 15-year-old kid, and there's 30-year-old guy yelling the shit. I'm like, what the heck? You know, but I mean, I'm not gonna put names on it. There's too much at that time growing up. Yeah, you know. And I mean,
do you credit that like a little bit, or do you think it was just?
I honestly, I credited that it gave me a drive to be better.
Mhm.
But then also, that on the negative side, that it could have pushed me away, but it also pushed a lot of the guys who were at that time my age away too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, imagine you have like 1 out of 10 guys will be playing because they have that thick skin, but 9 of them are leaving.
That's
Right.
true.
And how many youth will you be have playing soon,
Yeah.
and how long the game will last?
Okay.
Leng, you want to talk your experience?
My experience, man, it's like my veterans were like middle to late 80s, right? And early 90s, they're already over the hill. So I'm more like Daniel, right? It was like never a coaching experience for those guys. It was more of you watch, you imitate, you kind of learn as you go. But like my generation, there was really no like internet whatsoever. So playing sports was our internet. So those veterans that I talk about, it's like Lewis, my cousin B, my oldest brother, Song, Lau family. Those guys were like veterans to me, like Gai and all the, those guys are veterans to me. That's like late 80s, Hmong people just been in the United States for maybe 10, 12 years. So, those guys were just starting Hmong volleyball, really. And those are the guys that you kind of mimic, kind of imitate. But like Daniel said, it was like they never really coached you. It was just like you kind of saw what they did and basically say, go over here, do that, go over here.
Right.
It's not like they taught you how to hit.
Right.
It's not like they taught you how to pass, set. They basically guided you without teaching you,
Right.
So those are the veterans that I kind of imitated, like so I started really young. Unlike, like Tou Xue and Daniel, they kind of, started, when they were like 14, 15 years old. My first J4, I was like 12. I mean, like my first Hmong volleyball tournament, I was like 11. So,
Pro, yeah.
what's that? Exactly, So I was playing against adults, I'm a little kid, not, just barely puberty, like a little kid playing against, adults and stuff. So I was trial by fire for sure into Hmong volleyball. But like I said, those vets from the late 80s, early 90s were kind of the same way Daniel. You kind of just mimic them, and they didn't really coach you or talk to you much, but you saw how they play, and then you saw like, I don't know, man. I've been around volleyball my whole entire life. As long as I can remember, I've been going to the park with my dad and stuff like that, just watching Hmong people play volleyball. So it was like you watch those veterans when I was a kid. I was like, man, I was like kind of seeing what could make them better, and I was only like 7, 8 years old. So like I said, those vets really didn't coach you much.
Right.
It was more they kind of guided you.
Right. Did you guys during those times? Did you guys ever like walk up to like a veteran, just ask them questions? I know that a couple of our players who, or just a couple of our legends who's been on our shows, they mentioned that they actually walked up to like maybe someone they idolized, or someone they looked up to, or someone they want to pick their brain, and they actually went and talked to them. Did you guys ever do that at any point in your young career? We'll start with Daniel, and then we'll go around.
To be honest, no, and not because not to discredit the veterans like Buddha, those guys who are like who played middle and like they dominated the game, but it's like at that time, like you're 18, 19, and you just don't feel like worthy of comfortable enough to say, hey, show me how to do that, or what do I need to do to get better.
Right.
Like I said, just watching like Buddha, Blong, those are like the two main guys that I really like you know, because I play middle, so I really like, you know, just trying to watch them play. And
Yeah.
like, I don't think I talked to Blong until like 2015,
Oh, wow.
you know, and I played like outdoors since like 2011. You know,
Okay.
Blong and Buddha, I didn't talk to either of them, you know, didn't have the courage to like walk up and talk to them or even say what's up
Mhm.
until like, you know, I got older and, you know, we started getting, you know, they started talking to us a little bit more. So
Right.
yeah, I never had a moment where I'm just like, hey, I'm just gonna go talk to this guy and just pick his brain or see if he can coach me in any way, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tou Xue, did you ever go up to any setter or any player that you looked up to and try to pick their brain, or did you feel uncomfortable, or what's going on?
Not technically picking their brains, but definitely would have gone up to a lot. Actually, my obsession to be great was what drive me to talk to these guys. See their perspective. Want to be good, so you got to learn from everybody. So I did. Those guys that I was really comfortable with, and they were really not the veterans who are nicer guys. You know, they would come up. They would compliment you on doing good stuff, not all the negativities. But those guys, you know, were what I idolized, and I had fortunately to meet a lot of guys who were nice.
Yeah,
and it changed the how I wanted to be. The obsession to be good was what drive me to talk to them. You know? I mean, then YouTube was new to the platform. So I mean, if you're not buying clips from like Japan, you know, videos, you're not gonna learn.
Right.
So,
I wish we had YouTube back then.
yeah, YouTube was really new, so growing up learning how to play, it was. I mean, yes, a few of those guys who I have talked mentioned before in our last previous podcast.
Yeah.
What about you, Leng? Did you get a chance to pick anybody's brain, or did you have the courage to go up and ask anybody about anything?
No, not, you know, those 80s guys, early 90s guys. I just talked to them non-volleyball, really. I mean, just to get to know them, but to really ask for advice, not really. Is just get to know who they are, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I didn't go up to say Lewis and say, Lewis, show me how to jump serve, you know, because I didn't. He just jump serve, and I try to do the same, you know.
Right. I know that for me personally, I think as far as when we were coming up and playing, we had an older veteran on our team, so he kind of guided us and coached us and, you know, helped us along the way. It wasn't until later, you do play Minji, and then I started talking to like maybe like a Chong or a Gomeng and all those guys. I think as when we were coming up, we were just kind of starting. I think I don't know if you guys remember Leng. I don't know if you remember Yi. Remember Yi?
Yeah, man. Yi's my boy, man. I remember Yi.
So Yi, he was kind of like the veteran on our team, at least. So he kind of just taught us, you know, all this and that, how to do stuff. And then
the funny thing was that he's a veteran, but I think he's younger than us. Younger than Chong and I, right?
Yeah, he might be. So, you know, it kind of worked the other way around. And, you know, the thing is, too, a lot of the time, like, you know, when you go and talk to these veterans, man, like, you know, if you just kind of, I think some of the veterans told you, you know, go play. It's not you young child, like, you know, they're not gonna tell you much because it's like, why am I telling this kid? But I guess, you know, when you kind of have like a little resume behind you, or you kind of develop a little bit more, and you want to add to your game, I think that's when they're more willing to kind of share with you to join on. That's how I kind of felt as I was coming up.
Let me touch base on that a little bit. You know, I think I mentioned it in some of my interviews, in the previous interviews or whatever. It was like when we're playing a lot, it was like when we go to tournaments, I'll be there, you know, my wife and I will go get something to eat at the tournament or whatever, and we're walking back, and these random young cats, volleyball cats, whatever, young kids that I've never, don't even know them by name, they'll just come up and ask me something about volleyball, right? And I'll tell them, and then my wife would be like, do you even know who he is? And I was like, I don't even know his name, you know. But I was more than willing to answer his question about whatever he wants to know about. I'd be like, yeah, this is what I would have done, you know. But yeah, just to kind of, you know, piggyback on what you're saying is that I think once they get a little bit more the fundamentals down,
right.
I think they're not afraid to ask more volleyball related questions, you know.
Because they kind of been through the motion. They kind of know what they need to work on, so they'll ask a veteran. I think there's a coach or there's a mentor for when you first start. Those are kind of like the mentor who will kind of like believe in you when you're like just beginning, and then there's also mentors along the way as your game developed. You know, I'm pretty sure, you know, that's kind of how everyone started. Someone has to believe in you at some point, right? There's always a mentor there, and then someone who kind of, you know, didn't give that tough love, someone who just kind of believed in you, knew that you can do it. And then eventually, as it goes, then that tough love comes. You know, that's kind of how, you know, I kind of came up. So
when I was coming up, you know, I was playing an era of like, you know, when Leng and then was dominating, you know, and Kel and Huey and all those guys were dominating. I kind of felt kind of different from all you guys. I don't know if it's to my detriment or what, but I feel like
benefit, man.
I feel like, man, these motherfuckers, man, I don't want no help from them, man.
It's the
I ain't gonna ask for no fucking advice, man. I'm gonna fucking kill them in my own way.
Exactly, man.
That's the attitude you gotta have.
So, like, if you reflect, I think it must have been to my detriment.
You know, every time I played you, man, every time I played against you guys, man,
in hindsight,
was like
I
you
wish I
wanted to
would have
murder us
passed.
or something, man.
Dude, no, because ever since we started doing this podcast, it just feels kind of weird just talking to you guys. Because when I was playing, I did not want to know none of y'all, man. I was so it was so tunnel vision. I was like, man, fuck these motherfuckers, man. I hate everybody.
Like I got to know Will better than you, man. I was like, I'd rather talk to Will all day.
I only played for a year too.
I know.
Well, hey, let's go to some comments right here. We have Ty. Ty say in the late 90s and early 2000s, there was so much rivalry. It started changing in the mid 2000s. We transitioned into a more friendly atmosphere. During that time, practicing or going out to the park to play, you had to have your own team. I'm guessing Ty's from Fresno, around your guys' area. Tou Xue.
We gotta send him a link. We gotta get him on right now.
Yeah, get him on, man.
He's a punk, man. He don't want to come on, man.
Get him on.
Get him on, man. Get him on.
So that is kind of how it was back in the days when you were playing. So you play in the park now, you gotta bring your own team, man. You know, because if you hop on a team, you guys are gonna lose, and you play one game, you gotta wait 3-4. Dude, by that time it's gonna be dark already.
Dark already. Go home.
Yeah, you know what? That it's funny that he says that, because I remember going. I remember going to Green Bay for like the first time or whatever, and then when I got there, I think Powell was like, "Go Leng." I was like, "Yeah, just me, man." He's kind of like.
Nah, you ain't playing.
Like, where's your squad at, bro?
Oh, yeah, you ain't playing, man.
But it's true.
Yourself? Nope.
It's true though. Yeah. I don't know if it's, you know, if Daniel, can you speak on that? Playing back in Fresno.
Yeah. Is it Ty Vu?
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Ty, man. That dude's a real one. He's a real cool cat.
Yeah, you better get him on then.
Get him on, man.
You didn't tell him to get on.
Yeah. That's a cool guy. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I can't speak on, you know, in the early or mid 2000s, but definitely, you know, when Tou Xue and our team, Critical, when we started getting good, you know, like in 15, 16, 17, you know, and like. We were going to the park, and yeah, it's true. Like we were dominating the park, you know. So it was like any team that came, and they didn't have their full team. Like, you know, with all due respect, like, you know, we take them out. You know, no questions asked. Same for us when we're, you know, in the early 2000, like 11, 12, when PT was dominating. It was the same thing for them. Like they would play for water, You know, right? You lose, you lose, you pay $1. You win, you get a water.
Right.
You know, we were youngsters and go over there. You know, you're so optimistic, like, yeah, we're gonna get to play some volleyball. And you know, you go in there in prime time, like, you know, Crew's not even setting, like Buddha setting, and you know, they have their back row player hitting, and they're still, you know, they're still beating the crap out of us, you know. So
yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like at that time, it's like, and it just circles back to what Tou Xue was saying, is like it could either drive you to be better, or it could be so demoralizing. Like you lose and like you just pack up. You don't even wait. Like when you lose, here I can't speak for Midwest and you know all the other places, but you know Tou Xue can be attest to this. When you lose at the park and when it's super competitive, when it's come tournament time and everybody's playing hard, you lose, you just gonna go home, because by the time, let's say they set up at 6 p.m. and you play around 6:30 and you lose, you're not gonna get play again until like 9:30. That's
it was the same way in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So yeah, to attest to what to answer what Ty said, yeah, it's true. I heard that back then it's a lot more competitive. It's like, is your squad against us? Like, we're not cool. But now it's more like, it's more a community, you know, everybody knows everybody. But the funny thing
blame
is
the internet and social media, man.
I actually like the way how it's going though. The way how it's going, it's getting everybody better as a whole though.
Right.
Everybody's getting better as a whole.
Yeah, but yeah. To answer that question, yeah, it's if you don't bring your squad, then it's tough luck.
How's it now over there?
To be honest, it's kind of slow now, you know, due to COVID and everybody's like trying to get back into it. But it's I think right now, right, Tou Xue, is like it's a little bit more friendly right now, not that hostile yet, but I want to say come like, you know, closer to like big tournaments like Fresno New Year, or like J4 for next year in Minnesota, like yeah, that's when like it gets really it gets really hostile. You know, everybody's like uptight and nobody wants to lose, you know, because you go there and you want to win so you can keep playing. So right now it's I would say it's pretty slow. It's not that hostile.
Yeah, I think
or
the hostile
that
is definitely
right
not there, but the competition, the friendly competition is still there. You know, obviously.
They're just waiting for you two to show up to the park. That's all they're waiting.
Wait for that guy to show up. He doesn't want to come out.
They're just waiting for you two to show up.
Like I said, if I'm not ready, if I'm not there mentally and physically, I'm not gonna go out there. That's just the way I operate.
That's kind of refreshing.
How's Milwaukee back in the days, man? I know Milwaukee was pretty deep back in the days. How did you guys do?
It was, man. I mean, like, you know, I believe at one point, Milwaukee was the center of Hmong volleyball. Milwaukee was having more volleyball tournaments than Minnesota. All Minnesota really had was J4, but Milwaukee was having like $1,000, $2,000 tournaments every weekend.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just like once a month. It was like literally from May until October, every weekend was Milwaukee, you know. And I mean, like for practice at the park and stuff like that is kind of what Daniel kind of said too, you know. Like I said, Daniel has been perfect in our generation. It was like you lose, you're basically not playing until 9:30 because it'll be dark, because it's that competitive, you know. You bring your squad, and you know that's how it was when I got started playing competitively. But then, you know, once drifters or survivors or whatever you want to call us at that time, once we started doing that, it was like, all right, everyone has their park in Milwaukee that they kind of play at. So days that you just want to play and, you know, work on your skills and play against each other as a team, you go to that park and you do your thing. And then if you want to go test what you did the following day, then you go find, you know, the other team's park, and then you just kind of battle it out. But again, it's like if you lose, Miles you'll be lucky to get another game.
Yeah.
You know,
especially in the Midwest, man. You lose, you sit on the sideline and you all day, man.
Yeah.
I remember, you know, when we're in Chicago, we didn't have much choice. There wasn't a lot of people, so you know, whenever you show up to the park, then you just play. But I remember a lot of our training. They went on. it was away from the park. We did like the running, the exercises during the day, or and then when we went to play, it was just all game time. I remember that's how we did things. So you had to train on your own during the day, run, set, just go through the drills or whatever. And then when you show up to the park, River Park, at around 5:30, 6 o'clock, then we just play all day. So, that's just how it was. So, and I remember when we first started, man, these guys were like, they were freaking laughing at us, bro. They were laughing at us like, these guys play basketball, man. What are they doing here? So nobody came, and we used to like call like Komeng and Chong them to come practice with us. Nobody came, and then eventually Chong started coming. We got a little bit better. Chong showed up like basically every day, and then pretty soon like Ricky started coming, and then Lewis, and then all of a sudden like they saw us getting better and better, and then these veterans are like them. I thought Supe, so I think as what gets lost sometimes is when you're coming up, bro, you have to earn it, dude. Like we like literally earn them just to come and play us.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? We used to just practice. We used to tell them to come, and nobody would show up. And then eventually we got a little bit better and better and better, and then they started coming. So you have to earn it, man. Like you can't just show up and expect these veterans to like respect you. These veterans look at you like you're the competition.
If you flip it, right? On the flip side of, I believe, I'm not going to speak for Chong or Gomeng or anybody like that, but I have the same feeling, or the idea that Chong and Gomeng might have had was, why are they going to waste their time coming and play against you guys when they can just serve and you guys will lose? It was like they want to work on their game too, because it was like at that time it was like Chong, Gomeng, my generation. It was like when you, Pang, and then we're still coming up. It was like we're still somewhat in our prime, right? We're still somewhat in our physical prime, so we want to work on our game as well. So for us to come practice with you guys at that time, it would have been like, are we really working on our game, or are we really helping you? It's like at that time we want to work on our game as well. So I could kind of see where Chong and Gomeng and Lewis, and then we're probably like, man, these guys better step up before we go to practice with them.
And it's understandable. And then you look back at it now, sometimes be placing a lot of the veterans, they're not going to reach out to you until you are serious, because these veterans, they put not their whole life, but they put a lot of time into it.
We put our life into it. Come on, man. We put it was like freaking 20 plus years of our life into that.
Yeah. You spent like a lot of your life into it. You know what I mean? So these veterans, when you are not really serious about playing ball and you kind of go ask them just to ask them, like, it's not that like but like, are you serious about it first? So but eventually we started earning some respect from these veterans, and then
because they were like, damn it, these guys could challenge us a little bit, gives us a little competition to work on our game. That's probably what Chong and Gomeng was thinking.
Much respect.
That's what they're thinking.
But I guess they're just, let's show you, if you put as much time as they put into it, they look at you, okay, this guy's actually respecting the game, he's putting in the time, I can talk to him. You know what I mean? So it kind of match energy. So
I was gonna say it's kind of refreshing to hear Daniel and Tou Xue still talk about, when you guys go to the park, you guys still bring your team and you guys still play as a team, and you guys make losing an embarrassing thing, right? And but like it's not a habit. You know what I mean? Like here, I do, at least for where in Appleton and around the area. I know it's kind of losing for everybody is kind of like a habit. You know what I mean? And like like there's no more of that attitude that you guys still have. You know what I mean? Where you guys, hey, I'm coming my team, I'm gonna play my team. If we lose, then then we're done. We're out. You know what I mean? You guys are just there for business. You just kill everybody and that's it. Over here it's it's I think it's dropped down to the level of, oh yeah, it don't matter if we lose or not, because everybody's gonna drink at the end of the night anyways. You know what I mean? And that's unfortunate. You know what I mean? Because there's I want to say, at least here there's a lot of talent, but the culture is not there anymore, like the way you guys still have it there. You know what I mean? Well, did you have any questions from?
Yeah.
Again, great.
Well, I think I think sometimes when Lee, I don't know, but I think in Wisconsin here, I'm not out on the volleyball scene, but it seems like a lot of the kids here are not playing in as many tournaments as well either. You know what I mean? So it's not
They're
like how
afraid,
back.
they're afraid of failure, man. That's why they don't go out there. I still hear, because
Mhm,
my niece still goes to the park and play a lot, and I still talk to her about
mhm,
who shows up at the park.
yeah,
In Milwaukee,
yeah.
still talent showing
Right.
up at the park. It's just
I
that
know.
they're afraid of losing, so they don't want to go to the tournament.
Yeah,
That's about it.
yeah. Well,
So-
for whatever reason it is, it's
Just to kind of keep this moving. I know on the thread, it was kind of 50-50. I know the veterans were kind of like we're not jerks, we're just pushing you guys. And then I think all the newer kids, all the newbies were like, yeah, you guys are jerks. Like, goddamn, like, calm the hell
Can't
down.
even, yeah, why you gotta call me out like that?
So can we just get your guys' opinion? Like, can you guys speak on that narrative? Like are the vets too hard, or and if that's stunting the growth of all the kids that are coming up nowadays, or you think that's the case or not, or what? Daniel, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, for sure. I think, to be honest, just speaking from my experience, I think the narrative that vets are too hard or jerks on the younger guys, I think it's a false narrative. More than anything, I feel like there's a big disconnect between the older guys and the younger guys, right? Like, and I can kind of go back to my story and kind of like Leng's story as well. Like, you didn't, I didn't have the courage to go up and ask Blanc or Buddha to coach me or show me how to play. And at the same time, maybe they didn't want to approach me either, not in a bad way, but they didn't see the need, or for whatever reason that they didn't feel like they should approach me or anything like that. So definitely there's a disconnect there, and that could play a role into why I guess HVB, the youth, isn't expanding at the rate or at the level that we would like it to. But I think there's way more to than just that disconnect or that being too tough on the youth that's stunting the growth in our, especially here in the like I said, I can't speak for Midwest, but here in the Central Valley in Fresno, it's like, even now, like I know like there's a lot of good teams, like younger guys that are coming up, right? Like Hype, Phantom. These are just to name a few of the young teams here in Fresno. Like they're competing with us already, but I don't feel the need to talk to them, not because I don't want to share wisdom or knowledge, but it's like, they just, like I said, we just don't talk to each other, and for whatever reason that is. And like I said, maybe it starts with me, like Tou Xue, like us, like maybe we should reach out, but because they're so competitive as well, like, we don't want to be like, oh yeah, I'm better than you, I know more than you, you should listen to me because they're already so good. And to be quite honest, they were better than, I can't speak for Tou Xue, but they were better than me when I was their age. Watching those kids from Hype and Phantom, like they're playing at a high level right now, and And I keep joking with Tou Xue. I'm like, hey, before we know it, man, we're gonna get dethroned, dude. Like these guys, they're coming up, man. So, yeah, but to stay on topic, yeah. I think more than anything, the narrative is false, and I think it's just a disconnect where each generation just don't want to sort of come together to kind of like build that, you know, that connection, that camaraderie, you know. That's at least that's what I think.
What's that?
Tou Xue?
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, and elaborate what Daniel says. You know, I think for us as the veterans, we would have not to sugarcoat the kids or the younger guys, but you know, we have to kind of reach out. You know, imagine me as a kid. If I never approached these older guys, I would never learn. But you know, there's these guys who are afraid. They are afraid to, you know, maybe get taunted at, or you know, they're afraid that they might get looked down. So they're afraid. So, and you as the veterans, I believe you should reach back. You should always reach back. You know, even if they want to not. You know, and I mean, yeah, you know, you want to reach back and help as much as you can. You know, and there's those who, there's gonna be a lot of people who doesn't want to listen, but there's gonna be that one person that maybe you could change their life, impact, just not inside the court, but outside the court too. You know, develop them as a player and as a person.
Yeah.
You know, things like that could just simple things like that, little things. You know, it's not something big, but little things like that. I think it could change us whole as a whole community. Better, you know, better the whole volleyball community, HVB. I think we will see more youth come out. You know, youth are grown and taught differently now than how we were taught too. So we have to adjust and reach back. Help out.
Thank you, Leng. What's your perspective on that, man?
My perspective, you know, it there you go. You know, I'm kind of torn on this one. 50-50. As a player, not as a coach, Leng as the player, I would say it's false all day, you know, because as a player, as an individual, it's on you, right? It's on an individual to want to be great, you know. Karsh Karai, right? To me, Karsh Karai is the best, hands down, U.S. volleyball player of all time. Right. As a player, he said, you know, their practices.
Hey, you gotta spell out his name, because so some of these young kids can Google him.
Oh man, they gotta Google Karsh, man.
They gotta
Karsh
Google him.
The,
you gotta spell out his
Karsh
name.
Karsh is like
quick.
the Michael Jordan of the Michael Jordan of volleyball, right? That's Karsh Karai. You know, and he, like, I went to one of his seminars. He came to Milwaukee. He did a coaching seminar or whatever, and I went to it. Basically, he said that during the USA team's practice, when Karch and them were really good in the early 80s, mid 80s, he said it was like basically they're bitching at each other, yelling at each other, pushing each other to get better, right? And then he's currently the coach of the U.S. women's volleyball team, right? And he said that as a coach, that doesn't work with this generation, right? Because they grew up differently, and it doesn't work. Where you have to motivate, kind of like Tou Xue said, motivate in a positive manner. You can't yell and tell them they're effing up and whatever. But in Karch's generation, he was able to do that, right? So me as a player, coming from that kind of era, I'm okay with the narrative being wrong here, because it's on the individual to get better. It's not on the coach to make you better, right? If you don't have the drive, the motivation, the self-awareness, the attitude, you know, then nobody can help you. You have the best coach. You can have Karch Karai coaching you, and you still suck. You know what I mean? That's from a Leng as a player perspective, is a false narrative. But Leng as a coach, because, you know, as a coach, I realized early on that I have no control over the court, right?
Right.
I could just move, motivate, whatever, to get them the best position to win.
Right.
Learned early on that was the only way, because Will and Ping knows me, man. As a player, I'm a hothead player, right?
Mhm.
Do it all, need to do it right now perfectly all the time, and I expect that from all my teammates. But as a coach, you can't, right? It's like you have no control of what happens on the 30-by-30 court.
Mhm.
You just hope that you put them in the best position to win.
Yeah.
So as a coach, this narrative is true.
Yeah.
As a coach, the narrative is
Right.
true, because the players
Mhm.
that these younger players kind of look up to
Mhm.
don't motivate them.
Mm.
They don't physically motivate them, as in mimic what I do,
Mhm.
or they don't verbally or communicate to motivate them to
Mhm.
get them better. So as a coach, the narrative is true, because I don't know, Daniel and Tou Xue's
Mhm.
generation is like Pang and Hova's generation, right? So that's kind of like the generation after my generation.
Mhm.
So we didn't do it to Pang, Daniel, or Tou Xue's generation. We kind of said mimic our style, or maybe mimic the way we play. We didn't
You're a
really
fucking jerk in the court, man. I
Exactly.
remember that.
Exactly. Have that attitude. It was basically that thing. It was basically have the attitude to win. And you know what? You did. You gave it right back to us. You basically said, "Screw you guys. I'm gonna whoop your ass anyway," right? So it was like we kind of like said, just mimic how we play.
Mhm.
So it was like this generation now is even you really, it comes down to, you really have to motivate positively, get them inspired in themselves, right?
Mhm.
And once you do that, then like people from Carter's generation and stuff like that, they didn't need that self-belief.
Yeah.
They don't need the help to believe in themselves, because they already did. This
Yeah.
generation is more the, we got to help them believe in themselves so they
Yeah.
can move and be better.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point, because that is very true. I wouldn't say it's true, just a blanket statement, but I'd say for the most part, my generation and generation of past, it was more, kind of an internal source, whereas now, they kind of need that external source. But I think, if you're gonna say, 2000s, those were the golden years, and that's how you guys grew up, just not really getting any feedback from veterans or whatnot. I mean, you can't say that was the golden era, and then now it's your era. You can't say, well, I'm gonna need more from you guys, from your veterans. Well, the golden era, all those players, they didn't really get much either. So
They get
you get what I'm
much.
saying? So it's very like I think people just gotta look in the mirror and look internally instead of some external stuff. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know
what
if
I
you guys
said.
agree with that or not, but that's kind of my opinion
That's
on
why I
that.
said I was kind of torn. Me as a player would say, "Hell no, this ain't true." But me as a coach,
Yeah.
it is kind of true.
Well, let's speak on that. In terms of coaching, like, do you think? I mean, because throughout history, I mean, you look at any sports, there's been coaches that were jerks that were successful. There were coaches that were not jerks that were successful. So what's your opinion on that, Daniel?
Yeah, I feel like it really depends on the group of students or athletes, whatever you want to call them, that you get, right? Like I'll take myself for example, as a coach who coaches high school. Like every year you're going to have different set of kids, right? You have seniors that are moving forward, graduating, they're leaving your program. You have incoming ninth graders that now you need to mold. You need to set that standard, that's introduce that structure and that culture to them. So as a coach, that's why it's so important. I learned the hard way. I learned the hard way because my coaches were like, they were hard on me. First 30 minutes of practice, they're working us out. We're running, we're sweating, stuff like that. So, I tried to use that philosophy and that method, and I learned real quick that I'm not going to survive in the business of coaching if that's the way I'm going to go about coaching.
Not now.
Not now. You have to do a lot of self-reflecting, really game planning, and really understanding like the kids you're working with.
Is that the kids or the parents, you think?
A combination of both.
Yeah.
A combination of both.
I would say more parents.
At some point I would not disagree.
But tell you the truth.
Yeah. So, and like I was saying in my comment on Tou Xue's post is different kids get motivated different ways, right? Some kids, like coaches can be more harsh to, can provide harsher criticism, right? Like I noticed that when I coach boys, I can be more harsh. I can talk down on them a little bit, like disrespect them a little bit, not in a super bad way, but like, I can tell them, hey, you're playing like booty, like you need to step up. Like, you can't even block that guy. I can try to motivate them through like talking like that. But with girls and certain boys, like you can't have that type of talk with them. Like Leng was saying, you have to make them feel like they're a part of the process, right? They have a say in what's going on on their team and stuff like that. So it really depends on the group of kids you have, and as a coach, just understanding that hey, you have to always be able to switch gears and just change the way you approach, even as one team. Like some players may like to be talked to a certain way, and you cannot talk to the other players like that. So you definitely as a coach has to be flexible and understand the group of kids that you have, so you can better deal with them. And like Leng said, motivate them, help them believe and that they are, even when they're not making the biggest improvements, you have to always give positive reinforcements. So that's just the day and age that we're in, as especially as public school coaches. You just have to, there's so many people that you have to please nowadays, and that's just the world that we're in.
Oh yeah,
the world. Yeah, Daniel couldn't say anything better, man. I mean, he said exactly what I would want to say. He pointed out the right stuff. Yeah, that's the day of age we're in, and we just have to adjust. We just have to. If we don't, we're gonna get booted out really fast, really fast. As a coach, you're not gonna last.
Leng, I feel like you could kind of be like a jerk to like a more veteran team, where the guys are more mature, but the younger guys, you got to kind of like, like what Daniel said, man, a lot of positive reinforcement, kind of, but but when it's with kids, like your high school level, you always got to do positive reinforcement. I guess.
And the to add to that real quick, Will, is because you want your program to be good for a long time, right? So you have freshmen coming in who you say, okay, they have potential, but maybe they're a little bit soft, whatever you want to call, however you want to define soft, it's up to the coach, whatever. But my point is, if you can't risk losing kids or losing retention rate over you not willing to praise a kid or to change the way you're coaching, right? Because when you're coaching for schools, athletic directors, they're looking at all that things like, how are you treating kids? How's your retention rate, right? Are kids willing to work hard for you? As a coach, that's the biggest thing that you have to win over, is that you have to be able to coach your kids, your students, where they want to play hard for you every single day. Once they don't want to play hard with you, it could be the best coach in the world coaching them, and they just do not care that you're coaching them. So again, to build structure and to keep longevity in your program, that's why freshman level, sophomore level, you have to really be less harsh, if you will, on kids.
That's for sure. Like, why would me as a kid waste my time coming to get yelled at, for freaking 2 hours? That makes no sense to me. And it is like what you guys said, man. You have to like, you know, use this positive reinforcement to get these kids to stay, because at the end of the day, right, what we're really developing are humans. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and nowadays there's so many things out there for like mental, illness and mental awareness nowadays. People are so aware of that nowadays, that kids nowadays are deeper thinkers as well too. Back then, you kind of just the mental awareness and stuff. You kind of just took it and kind of just went home and thought about it. Kids nowadays, they think so deeply now. They're just so more aware of how they're being treated, and they're just more aware of where they're getting that motivation from. And like you said, if the coach is not motivating them right, they have every right to go to the next school too. So you are in a lot of competition as well too. So you hit around the nail.
Yeah, for me, for me, it's Hmong volleyball is different than for me coaching high school or club level. And I think I kind of touched on it in part of my interviews and stuff like that, is that for the Hmong volleyball community, especially the guys, it comes down to parents, right? The parents have to give these kids the opportunity to actually go play Hmong volleyball. And until that happens, there'll be no coach ever that's going to make them any good. Like I wanted to do that for the Hmong, like a couple of Milwaukee kids that were a little bit younger than Pang. Like I thought that they were going to be the next great hope for Milwaukee. But their parents were like, "Oh, Leng, you lie, don't go with that guy," And I was like, "Are you kidding me, man? I'm a coach. I'm a legit high school coach, club coach, and stuff like that. And I wanted to coach their kids." And the messed up thing was that the parents knew my oldest brother and my oldest cousins and stuff like that, and they still thought that I was a lie, game banger, thugging, and stuff like that. But anyways, it was like that, that kind of threw me off of the Hmong volleyball community. It was like, dude, if the parents don't get involved, or the parents don't allow people like me that are willing to help their kids get involved, then there's an issue there, right? That's why the high school and club ball level is as a coach is totally different, because those parents, most of those parents, Daniel and Tou Xue could attest to that. High school is totally different from club. At the club level, at least, USAV or AAU, those parents are committed, right? Because it's money. Those parents are committed to put those kids in this club team. So most of those kids are committed, and that's what they want to do. It's their fun. It's their hobby. It is what they love to do. So at the club level, AAU, USAV, whatever, you get more of that commitment. At the high school level, especially like Daniel said, public school, and you get what you get, right? It's not a private school where you get the best of the best. At the public school level, you get what you get. So you got to kind of, grow your program from the bottom up, and for me, I was lucky enough to have, all my brothers coach with me, because if it wasn't the same from freshman JV to varsity, I don't think I would have took over the program. I don't think at the high school level I would have took it over, because there's nobody that I would trust more working the freshman JV level for the same program, to keep the same standard across the board. So until Hmong volleyball parents can commit and dedicate time, I don't think we can have coaches. You know what I mean? I don't think we can have good enough coaches or great coaches. I really want to, that's one of the things I kind of regret, and I kind of want to do again, is to do that Hmong volleyball thing as a coach again. But it really threw me off when the next great hope for Milwaukee, those parents kind of said that I was a thug because I had earrings and I smoke, that don't go with him. I was like, dude, I'll pick up your kids and drop them off at this time every day. And they still was like, no. They had to sneak out the house just to practice. You know what I mean? Telling their parents that, yeah, I'm going over to someone's house to study for school, but they're really coming to practice with me. You know, so yeah, until Hmong parents could change it a little bit, then I don't think we'll progress.
To relate that entire realm of coaching to Hmong volleyball, I mean those are two different, worlds. You know what I mean? Because you're speaking of a world that has so many incentives, right? You have all these incentives to coach the right way, teach them the right way, and these students or athletes have the incentive to listen, to follow, to make that team, to make
I was going to do it for free.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
it was just time. That was it.
But if you try to apply that into the Hmong volleyball world, there's that incentive world. It doesn't come together. You get what I'm saying? Like if you try to coach a group of 6, if you do hard on them, they can just go play off by themselves. They don't care. Like it wouldn't matter. You know what I mean? So that's why it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like there's no incentive. You know what I mean? Like you could take your time out of your life to coach these guys, but they don't like you. They don't like the way you coach, or one guy doesn't like it because you're benching him. He could just go off and play on his own, Yeah. So it's hard to kind of apply the same philosophy.
Yeah, the thing that got me, rubbed me the wrong way that one time, and I never went back, was these kids wanted me to coach them. These kids were like, I guess they kind of idolized drifters at that time, right? These kids wanted to be like us. And I was like, yeah, man, come pick you guys. Dude, yeah. I was already, I was probably like 34, 35 at the time already. I was already done. I was already coaching like club in high school already. And these kids were like 14 years old, 13, 14 years old.
I thought you were going to say these kids grew up to be Goming and Chong, man.
No, man. Like, no. I'm not going to throw their names out there so that, kidding. Their parents, the messed up thing is that parents are just a little bit older than me. Mm-hmm. So, I don't want to throw names out there, so their parents might be watching, so I might get in trouble.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, man, like these kids had great potential, dude.
Yeah.
Like they were the next. These were not. They were coming up behind Legions in them. Mm. So, these were the next. They were the great hope for Milwaukee, but never happened.
Daniel, what's your opinion on that? What's your opinion? Yeah, you've been a coach. You see the benefits of a kid being coached and the growth spurt that they have just being coached. How come? What's your opinion on like trying to apply that to Hmong volleyball and just?
Yeah, I have to agree with Leng. And that's looking back at the notes that I was making earlier before we started this whole thing. I see here that one of the major factors that we're not growing as a community, especially HVB, right? Why our kids aren't like, dominating Yomika.
We should be.
Yeah, because it goes back to our parents too, not to disrespect our older generations and our parents, but like, it's just the lack of resources, right? Whether we come from poor homes, I know I couldn't play club volleyball, because my parents couldn't afford it. And yeah, most of the kids that I play high school with, we couldn't afford it. So, you watch, right? You play against this kid, right? As a freshman, and he's a freshman, you're a freshman, right? Like me, Mikana. And then the next year you come back and they're playing varsity. You're like, what? Like this dude was just playing against me last year, and they're just like so much better than you are. But and it goes back to what Leng said, their parents invest, their parents are committed. And again, not to bash our parents, they did
not at all, man. Yeah, not at all.
They did everything they could to raise us right, and but we're disadvantaged. We're underrepresented as a minority. So again, our youth, you guys just need to take it upon yourself to better yourself, right? There's going to be disadvantages, but find yourself a coach, join high school volleyball. You know, high school volleyball is the cheapest, it's free, right? As
It's
long as
free.
it's free. You go
Free.
and you know, you get yourself into a good program, you know, you build discipline and you learn the foundations of volleyball. And then when you get to HVB, you know, everything should take care of itself. But yeah, HVB, we're not going to thrive, you know, until we can come up with something that will allow our youth to partake in, that will, you know, have, like Pang is saying, has incentives, right? They have a reason to join like our program or join the stuff that we're doing at the park. I know maybe Tou Xue remember, I know years ago, Sean from Primetime was hosting like, he was hosting like, I want to say like academies for like volleyball at the park, you know, and it looks like he was gaining a lot of traction and he was doing well. So maybe you guys can message Sean about that, but I don't know what happened there, but I know that Sean Vang was, he was trying to get something like that going. So, and it seemed like he was getting a lot of attention. A lot of good kids were going out there, and I don't know what happened. This was like years ago. Tou Xue, you remember when Sean was doing that?
Can't remember. It's been too long. I remember he did something. It was, I can't remember who did it, but yeah, I remember.
he was
something like
doing
that.
that. Yeah, he was, you know, teaching kids just how to pass, how to set, you know, basic fundamentals for volleyball. So, shout out to Sean. Maybe he can get something like that going. But
we gotta get him on too. Yeah.
Yeah,
we need
yeah.
to
Good guy. Yeah.
make your Hmong leader now. We need to you know, I know it's challenging, right? It's easier said than done, but we need to come up with a way to reach the youth and
Right.
you know, provide them something that they can look forward to, right? Because I know when I was playing high school volleyball, like I look forward to it all the time because like that was like the only sport I can play, you know. I was too small to play football, although I loved it. I wasn't really
I would have ran people over in football, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, Al Bundy.
I scored 5 touchdowns in one game.
I care, man. You're gonna get run over by either kid who's 6'5".
This dude, he did it at recess.
you know, for me, I was at a disadvantage too because I don't have any older brothers or any older cousins who played Hmong volleyball. So I didn't have any connection. I was never exposed to like Hmong volleyball until like my brother and my friends were like, hey, like, let's go play a tournament. I'm like, where? Like, oh, it's a Hmong tournament. It's like,
Looks like he cut.
And Daniel, you got cut off.
Yeah.
But Daniel hit on some great points right there,
Yeah.
man. Just, you know, cultivating the youth. That's how you cultivate the youth. You hold a camp.
Hey,
Whoever shows up, shows up.
Payne knows. He tried holding the camp. That don't work.
Yeah.
It
because
is.
there's no incentive. Like
Yeah,
like I said,
there's the incentive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it out there, man. Here's the
Yeah.
incentive for any. I would just post it all on Wisconsin.
Right.
Any Wisconsin U 16 under want to do this. I know there's not a lot of tournaments right now, but in 2022, summer of 2022, if they want to make a Hmong volleyball team, 16 under, hit me up. I will pay for all their travels to any tournament they want for the whole entire summer, and I will coach their ass. But it all depends on their parents.
What about us over here?
A little bit far, man. That travel's gonna cost a lot.
Elaborate on that. You know, how are we gonna be able to do that? You know, how are we gonna be able to get? Now, a lot of us are young parents now. How are we gonna? Are we gonna continue what our parents and the old generation have done, or you know, are we gonna give something back and be able to create? Are we going to give our time to be able to do that? Our parents, are they willing to give up their time to bring their kids out?
See, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing is
to find a way and make it work. You know, you know, I'm pretty sure like any other league, it didn't work. You know, you don't get a lot of attraction at the beginning, and it's really what you call it. It really brings you down. You know, especially if you're volunteering time, you know, and it's all volunteering, and it brings you down. How are we going to be able to change that?
Right.
You know, and we have great leaders now. Now, someone like Leng, paying you guys, you know, with this platform, we could promote that out. You know, we have great leaders who have tried. Maybe they, the time has changed. Time has changed. Maybe we can.
I do see it changing a little bit, Tou Xue. Is that, you know, talking to Pang, about him putting his boy into AAU basketball, high school volleyball. I see that, Peng's boy went to high performance tryouts and stuff like that in volleyball. So, it is kind of changing, with Rob up in Minnesota, having his boy in USAV volleyball and stuff like that. It is changing a little bit where, us and our kids, we do put in the time and commitment to give them the opportunities to play and, to give them the foundation to believe in themselves, right? Like, my parents came over, we're like the first generation in the United States. They wanted just to give us a house, a roof to live under. They want to just, put us some clothes on our backs. They didn't care about sports. They didn't care about anything else but go to school, come home, have some food, do it again, right? Now it's like, all right, we're a little bit better off, right? So we can provide a little bit better for our kids. So it was like now we give our kids, like Daniel and you, me, and Peng and Will were discussing that this generation needs a little bit positive motivation to make them believe in themselves. Our generation, we didn't need that because it was like, dude, if you didn't believe in yourself, you're going to fail no matter what. You had to believe in yourself right off the bat. This generation is like, all right, so now we're a little better off. We can provide a little bit better for our kids. So now we got to give our kids that foundation, that support system that they can believe in themselves to do what they want to do. So again, like Peng's putting his boy through all that. Rob is putting his boy through all that. So I believe it is changing, just not in a HVB.
We're definitely just like I told Will, like we're just pioneers, man. We're not gonna see the fruits of our labor, with our kids. Like this is just all nuance to us. Like
because
we're just in the first steps. That's it.
First steps.
You know what I mean? Like we're, I think because we're just, if you talk about just years here in the U.S., we're still new. You know what I mean?
40 years, 40 plus. That's it.
We still have yet to benefit from all the nutrition and and all that. You know what I mean? We're still just in our generation. We're still like, oh man, this is what we got to take, this type of protein or this and that. You know what I mean? Like we're still just trying to figure that out. You know what I mean? So like I told my son, I was like, man, I could put you through AAU volleyball and AAU basketball. It don't matter. Like I could put my entire savings, and invest in you. It don't matter. Like I told my son, I was like, you're probably not gonna get anywhere though. But that's not the point. The point is you do it to somebody else. You help somebody else out, and that is gonna build into something that I'm probably not gonna see. I'll probably be way like dead before I even see the first Hmong volleyball or Hmong professional player or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna make
but the thing is, at our level, at our age, we have to be willing to sacrifice that, right? We got to be willing to be. I got to be willing to be like, all right, I'm gonna take out my 401k so I can put him through all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like it don't matter. Like it should not matter to me. Like his future is our future. You know what I mean? It can't just be like.
Let me touch on that. Let me touch on that a little bit, Peng. I think it was not too long ago. I was talking with my brothers, my volleyball brothers, and stuff like that. And I was saying that how could we, as parents now, you want to provide for your kid, but you want to leave you want to leave like a legacy. I don't want to call it a legacy. You want to leave it so that your grandkids and your great grandkids are better off, right? So you're willing to sacrifice everything right now to have that for your great grandkids, So I think that's where you're kind of going, is that I'm going to sacrifice everything right now for a better future for my whole entire family down the line.
Yeah.
You know, for my great grandkids, my great grandkids, I already have that foundation I'm building right now. You know, with my son or my daughter or whoever, you're trying to build that, and you're sacrificing everything to build it because, shit. I mean, like the Hmong people in general, less than 50 years in the United States, right? Maybe 50 years in the United States, if that. So it's like we're only hitting on maybe the second generation Hmong people in the United States. So it's like every generation from now on is better from the previous one, you know?
Yeah, we like I said, we've yet to even Americanize. You know, most of us
No.
are still, you know, still true to our roots. You know what I mean? And
Which is good. I mean,
which is no,
good.
yeah, it's not a bad thing. You know, but there's got to be a balance. You know, definitely. You know, a level of investment in your kids and all that. You know what I mean? Because I know, like Daniel touched on, you know, like our parents. You know, shit, they just wanted you to get home in one piece. Like they ain't try to let you go play no sports that that might cause you harm or whatnot. You know, and
But you're in a bad
create
position.
some fucking hospital bills that they don't want. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
I think the family structure is a lot more different now because back then there's a lot of kids in the family. Nowadays, there's not as many kids, so the resources with the financial resources are more, it's more available now because parents are, as the Hmong people, our education is just going up and up, and we're having less kids, smaller families. So, and hopefully the breakthrough with Sunisa Lee, she's put on a pedestal like that for the Hmong, for all the Hmong to look at. That's a huge breakthrough right there. Now that we have one through the door, man, we're gonna start seeing like the development, and that's just how it happens. Once one gets through the door, there's just more and more and more, because you're gonna start seeing a lot of girls in gymnastics. I tell you that.
It takes one. That's it. It takes one.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you the next Hmong Olympian in gymnastics is already doing it right now.
Oh, yeah.
And we kind of know who she is already.
Mhm.
I can see her being in the Olympics if she keeps at it. And she's only like maybe 10, 11 years old right now.
Mhm.
Just moved back to Green Bay too. So hopefully comes out of Wisconsin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, you want to run through some questions or
Yeah, let's go with
that nature?
Yeah, let's turn to the comments section real quick before we get into the next question, because there's some comments right here. So let's go to Fusu. Fusu said,
"Oh, come on."
Dude, that guy's gotta come on, man.
He does, man. I mean, like, come on. He posts all these comments and stuff and never shows up. Let's go, Fuzu.
So he said that if young teams have grit and are humble to learn, veterans team will find and will be willing to take them under their wings. Building relationship is sometimes more important than skill. Both know their roles. Veterans are looking for representative, and young teams are looking to beat these veterans. You can see these big brothers, little brothers actually do well in the tournaments. He also said that veterans love nothing more than cocky young players to motivate them to put them in their place, and the young bucks are trying hard to humble the vets. So it goes hand in hand. And at the end, thumbs it up. He just said it's all about the young guys. It's all about just being coachable, just listening and being coachable. So what do you guys think about that? So that's kind of what his comment. Let me go.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. Being like, that's one of the things that, I as a coach myself preach, like, if you're not coachable, like no matter how talented you are, like you're never going to reach your greatest peak. You're never going to reach your greatest potential. So Fusu is right in that, in his comment. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, there's a lot of disconnect between the youth and the older generations, right? Like the youth, like maybe they want to talk to us, but at the same time, they want to beat us. And at the same time, us older guys, like, maybe we're not ready to get dethroned. So we're like, man, we're not going to teach them. we're not gonna teach them anything, you know. Like they want to be us, man, they're gonna come and get it, right?
Too guarded.
I feel you, Daniel. I
You know,
feel you
so-
on that.
You know, I really, you know, I'm a big supporter in like, you know, being a flexible coach, you know, passing on wisdom, and, you know, passing on knowledge, you know, not saying I know everything about, you know, volleyball, you know, I still learn today, you know, just playing and coaching, like you still learn like, damn, like I could have done that better, or like, man, like I preach this stuff, but I don't even do this stuff when I'm playing, you know? So it's like,
Do as I say, not as I do.
yeah, exactly, right? You know,
Daniel.
like,
Hell.
so sometimes, you know, like it's true, like it's true what Pusa says. Sometimes, you know, from both sides of this, both sides of the ball, right? Like you have to humble yourself. You know, veterans, you know, humble yourselves. You know, humble yourself, and you know, like I said, try to build that connection, that community, just like Fusu said, just get to know each other, build that relationship, and hopefully that leads to just, you know, bouncing ideas off each other and learning from each other and empowering our youth to do the same for the next generation. And like you guys keep saying, you know, hopefully that breaks the barrier that, you know, we are still facing today.
Yeah. Too soon.
Yeah, more advice and everything. I believe both sides.
Mhm.
How to be like a sponge, soak everything on both sides, humble yourself up. As a veteran, you know, let your guard down a little bit. You know, nobody's attacking you no more. You're not anymore. So you know, let your guard a bit down. You know, I mean, yeah, we don't want to be dethroned, but again, for me, the challenge is always accepted, and if you could create the challenge, why not create it?
Mhm.
No, don't wait. We're not gonna wait another 10 years before at that time it's already done. We're done, you know. So why not create the challenge now, and reach back and help.
Yeah.
Be the sponge also. Let your guard down, and as a youth, you know, don't think that you're all that also, and be coachable and be a sponge, man.
Yeah.
Take what anybody can take you. You know, we got to break the barrier, and you know, better competition, better everything. Makes better. You'll just see better players, better all around, and that's what's going to take us to the next level.
Yeah. Like.
With me, it's I don't know, man. It's like, you know, the 80s guys, 90s guys that, you know, I kind of mimic what Tou Xue said and Daniel said is true. Is like you get to know them, right? They didn't really teach you. You just kind of get to know who they are, and you know what makes them tick. And then from there, you build that relationship, and then you can really kind of pick their brains a little bit if you want to. But I never did. It was just like, yeah, this is gonna be my brother forever, even though he's not blood, he's still gonna be my brother forever, type thing. You know, kind of like, you know, it builds that camaraderie, that bond, and stuff like that. So for us to kind of progress, these guys that, you know, like I've never seen critical play. Tell you the truth, I've seen, you know, YouTube clips of them and stuff like that, but I never in person see them play and just not critique them, but just say, hey, Daniel, this is me. You know, who are you? Basically, hey, Tou Xue, who are you? This is me. You know, I'm from that era. I just want to get to know who you are and build that relationship, right? So to HVB, Hmong Volleyball, is like, I don't know, man. It's like that's not there anymore. Where you could build that relationship with the older guys and kind of grow it, you know. So yeah, it's kind of tough, interesting.
And
You know?
I think what Fusu is saying, it, you know, there's a lot of truth to it. I think as a player, and I always maintain this, you know, as a Hmong volleyball player, you know, you kind of come up as a rookie and you try to dethrone, you know, kind of, you know, all the top teams, right? And then as you kind of gradually do that, there's a lifespan, right? You gradually do that, then you have to you got to accept that next kid is just like you, and he's trying to dethrone you too. You know what I mean? And I think there, as a Hmong volleyball player, there's a hey, like you get to the top, but then you got to make room for the next guy too. You gotta
There's no room, hey.
you got you gotta let yourself get beat. You know what I mean? Because you don't know.
You don't get beat.
You don't know how much that means to that next guy beating you. You know what I'm saying? Once you get to a certain level, you know what I mean? You can't just be like,
too.
right. So,
Yeah, it's like you have to know that you are no longer, because I post videos on my YouTube account, whatever, and I talk with my volleyball brothers about it, and I talk to my wife about it. It's you can see the progression where the year we won, and then years after we won, you can see how we got to this point, and then you can see it just it's you know that you're done, that these younger kids are coming up, and it's yeah, mentally you can still do it, but it was physically, it's you already kind of like this, and those kids are coming up, and they're going to take it, and you just got to give it up to them. You can't just say that you're still the best when you know that you're already down the side of the mountain coming down. Or
oh, we're Tom Brady. We're not going to give it up.
No, you can't jump ship, man.
Yeah.
You can't jump ship.
We're not going to give up, man.
You got to retire as a Patriot, man. You can't jump ship. You can't go to a better squad and win another ring.
No, it's true because I can speak to that because like I said, growing up, I started right when primetime was dominating. They were the best of the best. Everybody knew them. Everybody here knew them. Midwest heard of them, whatever. So finally, after years and years and years of just getting beat by them, right? You just it's like that tunnel where you just cannot see the light at the end, right? You just keep walking, you keep playing, and you just think, man, I don't think these guys are ever going to slow down, So eventually, thank the volleyball gods, primetime slow down a little bit, of course, and it's going to happen to all of us. It kind of goes back to the point where everybody gets older and your priorities change, right? You have, some of us, we get married, we have kids, we have a career, education that we have to dedicate ourselves to. So, I remember when we first broke that barrier, everything just changed for us. Right after we won in 2016, it felt like everything just changed, and especially in Fresno, just beating them and then winning J4 just gave us so much confidence, right? Damn, we are that team. You sort of just have that attitude and that swagger, our time is now. We are going to, we're going to run it back. We're going to keep dominating. And we did for we came back, we defended, we lost in quarters, but back here in Fresno, we gone to Tou Xue can correct me if I'm wrong, not to brag and not to talk down to any other teams here. Much respect to them, but we gone to the championship game every tournament. I think except one or two from 16 till now. We missed maybe two finals, so but even now, I feel Tou Xue don't want to admit it, but I feel hey, before we know it, man, it's over. The run is over. The plane.
The run's never over, Daniel. The run's never over.
Yeah.
Something even now when we play against PT and up, we can tell they just have so much passion, but it's just different now, right? Because they're older, they don't play as much, and the tides have turned. But eventually, that we will beat them, where we will still love the game, but we'll continue to play. But some other team will become us and start dominating. And, you know, there's nothing we can do about it, but embrace that and embrace that change. And, you know, hopefully it doesn't come soon, but like I said, when it comes, embrace that and just
but
praise those
that
guys and allow them to you know, be on top, you know?
that kind of says a lot about them too, because they kind of allowed you guys, they allowed themselves to play long enough to allow you guys to beat them. You know what I mean? Instead of like getting like a junior Olympian on their team and crush everybody and
Oh yeah,
like,
you know.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They kind of allowed you guys, okay, like beat us and then take over. You know what I mean? Like they gracefully just kind of bowed out, basically. You know.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, Tou Xue can agree. We have so much respect for Primetime, you know,
Yeah.
and they're great people, and it's just it's always, even now we're just playing against them, like it's always a pleasure, you know. So shout out to those guys.
Yeah.
That's definitely an honor to play with these guys. Very respectful.
Could I touch base on that a little bit? What
You got 30 seconds.
All right, man. You look, KO, right? You know, you guys have Hova on, right? And Hova, you know, is like 0-11 against me, right? But I posted a video of, I think it was like 1999 or 2000 or whatever, where Hova was like playing with Wild Arms or whatever.
Yeah.
And he had a crazy cut that he
I told you. See, I told you he had that hit.
And it was like that, right? It was like Hova, Eddie, and all of them on that squad. And it was like, dude, at that time, we were already kind of like, you know, us drifters were already kind of like on a decline, right? We're already over the peak. We're coming down. And they were still coming up. They were only like 14, 15 at that time. And he was doing his crazy stuff, right? So it was kind of like what Daniel was saying. It was like, yeah, KO is going to take over Wisconsin in due time. But it was like we were still on our decline. We're still holding on. We're like, hell no, we're going to fight to the end, right? But you can see it in that video that, yeah, Eddie, Hova, and those guys, Nevin, and those guys were up and coming because they were like 14, 15, 16 years old doing those crazy ass stuff on us. You know, it was like, yeah, those are next generation kids that are going to be coming up. So to touch on Daniel and Tou Xue's, what they said was, yeah, they're going to be the old primetime now. Critical is going to be old. Those young bucks are going to take over what Critical is doing. And Critical is going to take over what primetime is right now, you know.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
We're going to play the Legends League now.
No legends, man. Hold on to the end. To the end. You will never lose, man.
Anything else, Will?
I think you guys hit on some pretty good points, man. I think when we sum it all up, I think the game is way more important than just the individual play, because like you guys said, when the next person retires, the next person slides right on in, the game keeps on going, man. That's just how it works.
But that's just it, man. You have to allow that person to slide in, right? You can't just block his way. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got to gracefully kind of bow out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean that's why, you know, like that's why, like, you know, Leng is a big deal, because kind of their team just kind of gracefully just what. Like we
just quit.
Yeah, just whooping us. All right, man. We'll just bow out, man. We're not gonna go grab, you know, some, like I said, like some Olympic
USAB
players.
Open player. You know, we're not gonna go grab that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, whatever. I mean, people have their own way. That is just my opinion, you know.
Yeah.
But what do I know?
Yeah.
More than most.
Let's see. Nate Perez says, Daniel, what does are stats important?
He's probably referring to, is this an inside joke?
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah,
Are stats important to the rookies or something like that?
Hey, Nate, yes. Stats do not lie, okay?
If stats are
Numbers
important,
don't lie. Numbers don't lie.
Men lie, women lie, but
are
Numbers
stats
don't.
important to coaching up the rookies, he asks?
Yes. Stats means everything. If you're playing bad, I can show you your stats. I can show you why I beat you, right? He is playing.
Numbers don't lie.
Yeah. If a hitter
I tell
gets,
my players all the time.
Yep. If a hitter gets 10 sets and they hit nine balls into out, or they make 9 hitting errors, that's the tell of their night. Hey,
Yeah.
I got to pull out, bro. Like, you're not playing.
You got
well.
roof 9 times.
But
Sorry.
that's what I tell my son. He comes up to me like, man, I had this one good hit. I was like, if you can memorize your one good hit, that means you just had that one good hit, man. If you had all good hits, you wouldn't remember any of your hits. You know what I mean? Like, make it a habit that you have
that one mistake.
Yeah. You if you can remember that one mistake you made, then that means that that mistake.
You did a lot of good things.
Yeah, you did a lot of good things that you couldn't remember. You know what I mean? Matthew Shum asked, where do you guys see the future of Hmong volleyball headed? Daniel, you want to answer that? And then we'll move on.
Future, I think I can't speak for Midwest and that region, but for sure here in Fresno, California, I think we're headed in a good spot, man. I mean, like I said, just this past tournament we had in J4 here in Fresno, like, man, we have young bucks, man. They're competing hard, they're playing hard, and yeah, they're talented and they have height. And I keep saying, man, I keep telling my teammates too, they're way better than us when we were their age. We couldn't even scratch the surface, and they're over here like making us work. They just lack experience. So at least for Fresno, I know that we're gonna be in a good spot. So shout out to those Phantom boys and those hype kids, man. You guys keep playing hard, man. You guys, we know it, you guys gonna be the top dogs, man. So, but it's good that there's rivalry already between them, So we know that, hey, it's gonna be a good show. Yeah, it's gonna be good moving forward. So
rivalry is always good. It brings out the best in each other.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is they're all the same age group too. So like.
So they're gonna be battling for a long time.
Yeah, a long time.
I'm already on the sideline with my beer waiting already. Making side bets.
It sounds like an MDY airport all over again, man.
Yeah, so for Fresno, I feel like we're heading down the right direction.
Okay. What about you, Tou Xue? How do you see it?
What actually, I think we are hitting down the correct road. I thought we hit a roadblock after my time. I thought that was it, but they proved me wrong, and I'm seeing greatness coming out of the young talented guys. I give it up to the parents, and here you see a lot more of the supportive parents now.
Yeah,
who need to put them in clubs and HVB. They're going through clubs, so they're letting that they're more open-minded now about it, and I don't know. We're definitely I don't see it dying unless like COVID hit it again, another bad COVID hit. I don't think we're dying. Even with COVID, these guys are still putting 110% out there.
Yeah.
Shoot. I mean, like, can't contest anywhere else but Fresno. It's I think it's the heart of volleyball for Hmong volleyball. And it's gonna. We're gonna try to keep that up, We're not gonna, but we're not also ready to be dethroned by them. So
never give up, Tou Xue. Never give up.
He has to throw that in there. He's not
never
ready.
give up.
Yeah, I'm not ready to lose yet. And over the past 2 weekends, it shows. The two top teams are not gonna ready to get dethroned. You guys gotta come take it.
Sounds like Hova to me, right there.
Was there a reason?
Not being a cocky level, it's just the confidence that is there,
Is there a reason why that tournament was held indoors?
Well, that's the first. I guess the Fresno has an indoor now.
Okay.
We never had one that's open to the public, and it's the first one. It's in the fairground too.
Okay.
I think great things will be coming. Finally, having something that's available for just not to be kind of biased, but to the majority. Our minorities now have access to some resource that we never had.
Yeah.
And I think it's growing.
And
That's
Peng,
good.
to
Hey, I
add
know
to that,
Cali's strong, man. Cali is strong.
to add
It's
to that,
okay.
Peng, we're playing indoor because we don't have grass like you guys.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't.
They be playing on
So I
cement,
went there
dude.
and I was like, what the heck? They play on this?
We were
Yeah.
just my son and I, we were in San Diego for a basketball camp, and he was like, "Man, there's no grass out here." I was like, "Oh, it's
Wait
true,
till you see
man."
Fresno.
Okay.
If you think,
Oh,
if you think
No
that about
grass.
San Diego, wait till you get to Fresno.
No grass out there,
Hey,
man.
they got the wrong kind of grass, dude.
Yeah, the wrong kind. That's right. Well, I wouldn't say wrong, the good kind.
So we know Cali's in good hands. Peng and Leng, what do you guys think about the
Oh man,
Midwest, man?
Here's my challenge. Here's my challenge to the Midwest. Right, I've been kind of gone for the Hmong volleyball scene for a while, right? I don't know who the up and comers are anymore. It's been probably good, I don't know, 5-6 years for me since the last time I actually went to a Hmong volleyball tournament. Which, if you guys come up to Warsaw, I'll come watch y'all and critique y'all. But we'll see if Critical shows up.
Free
or
of
not.
charge, free of charge.
But here's a challenge to my Wisconsin young bucks, right? Again, if you're like, I would say 17 and under, guys or girls, shit, I'd rather do girls, 17 under, whatever. If you all want to make a squad, I would dedicate my time in 2022 from start of end of April to end of September. And I would pay for every possible tournament, travel, whatever, for you to make a squad of 8, right? And I would dedicate my time for practices and stuff like that. I'll run practice for you, get you guys the balls, buy y'all jerseys, whatever, for the whole entire year. That's my challenge to Wisconsin.
Wow.
Wow, fuck. When I was coming up, where was
you know,
that? What the
CrossCourt.
fuck, dude?
Hey, when you were coming
CrossCourt
up,
gotta
I was
get
the
involved with
board
this.
just like you. What the heck are you talking about, man?
Hey, Leng, man.
You and I were in the same boat.
Hey, I'll help you. I'll help you get jerseys, Lane. Look at this.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah,
got
the
the
press
true
machine.
stuff right
Yeah, yeah, I'm down with that.
Hey, look,
too. I'm
I'll
down
stick
with
to you,
that.
man. Hey,
I'll
look.
order from you.
No,
Yeah,
I'll
order directly.
I'll donate it to a team, man. It's the thing. I support
2022.
it.
That's the challenge for Wisconsin right
Okay.
now.
And make it happen, you know, guys. Hey, kids, if you guys are watching,
I'm
parents,
willing to make it happen. It all depends
make
on
it happen.
the kids and the
Parents.
parents, man. Yeah, kids and the
Lane
parents.
me a lie,
I know me a lie, man. None whatsoever. Even though I have earrings and I smoke and I drink a lot, I'm still not a me a lie, you know.
You know what, Leng?
So there you go, Pang.
Hey, putting it out there like that, man. Hey, Leng is
Out
willing
there
to
like
donate his time, his effort, his money to get
my
out
money,
there.
whatever.
Man,
I think in terms of
Dude.
like just
I just
Wisconsin
need
wise,
dedicated players.
Wisconsin wise,
parents.
there is a lack of teams, like that team camaraderie, right? Like I was telling this young dude around here, right? I was like, you guys are wasting your freaking prime physical years on not having a team. Like you guys are just, you know what I mean? Like you guys are just coming out here and you guys are just playing as an individual. This game is not individualized. Like you have to play as a team. Like I told him, I was like, man, you should come out here and practice. You should bring a team. You should just beat everybody. Like, who the hell cares about anybody? Bring your team and just kill everybody. But that's what's lacking in Wisconsin. There's no set team, except for like
That's why I'm making that challenge.
except
I'm
for like
make the 16 under team right now.
except for like kind of KO because especially looking on the brothers, so it's easier for them to just stick together. You know what I mean? Like most of these guys that are growing up, like they're growing up just and like the newer generation. You know what I mean? Like they don't have much siblings or their siblings are interested in other things. So they have to rely on their friends and whatnot. And you know, like I said, if you guys are friends and you guys can't even make up any team or whatnot, and every tournament you play with some random people, then it's not gonna get you anywhere. Like nobody's remembered as a individual. You know what I mean? Like I'm remembered as part of a team. Leng is remembered as part of the team. Daniel is remembered as part of the team. Tou Xue is remembered associated with the team. Everybody's remembered as associated with the team. Like you cannot just come out here and be like, I'm gonna create all these things by myself. Like you can't. You know what I mean? It's like it's unprecedented if you try and do that. You know what I mean? But that's what I see that's lacking in Wisconsin a little bit. But I think it goes round and round. You know what I mean? Like I've been in the game long enough to see Cali struggle, you know, with that. To see Minnesota struggle with that, to see Wisconsin struggle with that, and it kind of goes round and round. And you know, it's just unfortunate that it's kind of like everybody take turns instead of everybody's just there. Like everybody's got a team and bam, let's just clash. You know what I mean? It's just unfortunate that we have yet to. I think we had it like when MVP and kind of Leng, when you guys were kind of still in your prime yet, when you guys kind of clashed there, but that was it, you know, and then it kind of transitioned to, you know, that little cycle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Matthew Song.
But yeah, that's my challenge to Wisconsin. Damn it, Payne.
He's got an interesting question here. I'll just read it. I'll just so he's saying, just throw us out there, not trying to create negativity. But he's saying that he's heard people talk on this. Thoughts on the idea that HVB is all about trying to find the best Mika right now. Someone argued that's why the younger internal motivation isn't there. That's why the HVB is changing. Should we keep HVB or should we change it to open volleyball for all? What's your opinion on that, Tou Xue? Let's start.
Can I
Tou
answer
Xue.
that first?
Oh yeah. Go ahead, Leng. Go ahead. 30 seconds.
Let me answer that first, because 30 seconds, all right. Because everyone knows Corey, right? Everyone knows Corey, right? Tell me now.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of Corey, right? Yeah, never heard of him. But think about this: when we were really into volleyball was our life. We already knew Corey. Why didn't we ask Corey to come play Hmong volleyball then? Why didn't we? Because you know what? We wanted to beat Corey.
Because you racist, dude.
we didn't care. No, for real, we didn't care, right? Ask Chong, ask Omang, and then we'll go play open gym against Corey and whatever. And in open gym, and whatever Corey did, we wanted to do better. So this whole entire Hmong is making more young players not want to play. Screw that.
Right.
You know, that's not a fair statement. Because everyone knows Corey, and the Corey you guys see in Hmong volleyball is not even the best Corey.
Right.
You can imagine we asking Corey to play in like the mid 90s or early 90s. That was the better version of Corey. You guys only see Corey at a plateau and kind of going downhill already. You guys didn't see Corey at his physical best. We played against Corey at his physical best. And I can say that, you know, sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. But you know what? We didn't care. We didn't want to pull Corey in because you know what? It would have been unfair in Hmong volleyball. We did. We just wanted to be better than Corey. Because to us, anybody we played against, it didn't matter the race. We wanted to be the best. Like Pang's generation and Hova's generation and stuff like that in Milwaukee, they know that when we go to our practice facility for winter, because we're not in California where we get all good weather all the time. In winter, we play at this one gym, right? Where they have like 8 volleyball courts or whatever. and it's open gym. It's open to the public. And these are ex-D1, ex-NAIA players, and us Hmong guys, where our tallest player is JT, who is like 5'10", 5'11", and we're whooping up on these ex-D1 NAIA players on that court. We didn't go play with the Hmong kids. We didn't go play with the Hmong people on the Hmong court. We would challenge every Migat Doug, every Migat Do, whoever, whatever the race, May, whatever. The best players in the gym, drifters will go play them. That's how we practice in the winter. So this whole entire, oh, you need a non-Hmong or non-Asian to make you better? Bullshit. You know Big E, the only reason why Big E played with us, the Migat Doug guy, is because he was my best friend growing up. That's why he played with me. I was the one who got him into volleyball. He was a basketball player, right? He was my brother. Like, I just went and celebrated his 2 kids' birthdays just last weekend.
Whatever.
He's still
Don't
my
like
brother
your
till this
ass.
day. You know, so that's the only reason why Big E played with us was because he was my brother. And you listen to my interview, I'm all about family, and that's why we are family. But to have a non-Hmong or non-Asian play and make people afraid not to play is bullshit to me. That's just my feeling.
Daniel,
I agree with Leng too about that part. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, what race. You know, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a blessing. A lot of the non-Asians are taller than us. Some of them are athletic than us, but it shouldn't shy you away from being playing. It shouldn't shy you away. You see that as a blessing. You know, just an honor to play against those guys.
yes.
I mean, it'll be blessed to have a D1 player to come out and compete with us. You know, instead of you going to bash about them or bash about the team who had him on it, you know, you should be honored. And you know, and if you're losing, shit, train your ass to beat them. Don't just sit around and whine about it. You know, like you know, a good example like Fontana, he earned his stripe to play with us. It wasn't like we just picked him up in an open gym. You know, our guys coached him to play. You know, they coached him, and you know, so then he earned his stripe to come play with us. And no, and our other lefties the same way. You know, it wasn't like, oh, you're white or you're black and you're going to go play with us. No, you earned the stripe to play. And you know that the same as any other player. You know, if you want to play with a great team or you want a great team, you know, you got to earn your stripe to play too. You know, like
Yes. Anybody who steps on the court, man, you got to respect. You know, anyone who steps in the court, you got to respect them, good, bad. You know, whatever level. You know, people should always treat, you know, whoever it is with the same respect anyways. So, you know, that's my opinion.
I believe in opening up. You know, I mean, like, you know, if they're gonna have an all-white team, all Mikado, Kidu, I'm all for it. You know, but yeah, definitely, if they come play, we're not gonna change our rules to tailor to them. You know, but they're gonna come play our rules. But I mean, yeah, opening up. You know, I think it'll be fun. You know, getting smashed by 6'7" guys, I think it might change us to the next level.
Right.
You know?
I got a question for Daniel and Tou Xue. Did you guys ever see Airborne 2 play or play against Airborne 2?
No, they were already done.
Dude, you know the Chinese nine-man volleyball tournament? It's basically those guys came and played J4. I mean, these Asian guys, you know, these Chinese guys, whatever, man, they were like 6'4", 6'5". So basically, this non-Asian didn't apply to them because they were all Asians, you know. And
Exactly.
I got to play against them. When I played with Ta from Colorado, I was already like I said, I was already on my decline. I was already over the hill. But man, I wish I would have had them play when we were at the peak. You know what I mean? Playing against these 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" Chinese guys, Vietnamese guys, or whatever. I wish we were at the peak and, you know, we could have showed them that shit, we will still whoop your ass. I don't care how tall you are, you know. But it was like, damn, man. I was like knee problems and shoulder problems. I was like, shit. I wish it was like maybe 3 years ago that y'all would have came out as Airborne 2 or whatever. But again, it's the same concept, right? Who cares how tall they are? It was just been an honor to play and compete against them.
Yes.
Daniel, what's your opinion on what Matthew has to ask?
If I remember her question correctly, I don't think that HVB is changing, right? I feel like, you know, like y'all, the non-Asian players, like it's very few of them, you know. And I'll talk about like, you know, my experience, you know, with my teammate Ansel, you know, like we didn't go out and be like, oh man, like this guy is so good, like, you know, if we want to win J4, like we have to recruit this guy, you know, like he went through the same high school as us, you know. Obviously I was years ahead of him, but he went to the same high school, played under like the same coaches. Well, I play under the dad, he played under the son, and you know, when we recruited this kid, he was a kid. When we came to J4 2016, he was 19.
Yeah.
You know, and I think there was this misconception, like everybody just thought that, like, oh man, like he was like a college player, or
Yeah,
you know, he was a D1 player. But this was a kid who graduated high school, and he's just a kid. Like
yeah,
19.
they kind of lumped you guys in with everybody else who kind of drafted, you know, non-Asian,
Right.
and that was unfair on your guys' part.
Yeah, and I think like for the most part, nobody really actively goes out and like recruit like just so that they can win. You know, at least I don't think so. You know, all these non-Asians that come in, and like Leng said, they're affiliated with somebody, some way, you know, one way or another, they're affiliated with us. So no, I don't think it's changing. I don't think that they're affecting our game. You know, obviously they do bring a dynamic aspect to our game, right? Like they're more physical, they're taller, they jump higher. But at the same time, like they have to do their part in adjusting to the way we play too, right? Because outdoor Hmong volleyball, it's a lot slower. There's the weather factor, not like indoor, like how they're used to, where everything's so smooth, right? So it's not always like an easy transition for them too. So again, like Will was saying, you know, you have to respect that, you know, they're coming out of their comfort zone to play in a tournament that they've never played before, right? Like just imagine if one of us just go play in like an all-white tournament, like it will feel like really, really awkward, you know?
Yeah.
And then if someone just saying, oh, look at that non-white dude, like look at him, you know? Like of course, you know, Bela feel like, man, like what the hell? Like, dude, I'm just trying to play ball, you know?
Yeah.
So no, I don't think that the non-Asian is affecting the HVB or changing it at all. And I don't think that in the future, I don't think we're ready to open our HVB to, you know, to the world yet, obviously, you know, because we're so like I think one of you mentioned earlier, we're so 50-50 when it comes to like non-Asians, right? Some people love it, like, hey, they embrace the idea of like, you know, incorporating other race into our game. And some people are like, oh no, man, like we should just keep it all Hmong, like, you know, see who are the best Hmong ballers, you know. And so I don't think we're ready. You know, I don't know when we'll be ready, to be quite honest, but I know that for us to grow as a community and for like our sons and our grandsons and our future generations to be able to compete with them and go play pro, college, semi-pro, whatever, overseas, like we need to expose them to that level of competition. Like, you know, we're never going to grow if we just say, oh, we're just, you know, we'll dominate in the Hmong volleyball, but we can't even beat like Mikado, you know. So
Yeah,
we're not ready, but we need to start trending towards that direction.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, we're taking a lot of time here, but let's
It's what happens when you have me on.
let's go down. Let's go down to the last topic here.
I talk a lot too, don't worry.
Let's start with Daniel. In your opinion, what solutions would you offer to kind of move the HVB community forward? Like
So-
to get on that level that you were talking about, to get on that, USAB level or collegiate level.
Okay, so pretty much, in my opinion, my advice would be, take care of the things that you can take care of, right? Like, get yourself involved in like these clubs. Find a way to like fundraise to get yourself exposed to that game. Something I wish I could have done. And as an individual, like you have to find the time, the dedication to grow physically and mentally. I think that a lot, because and like I think Peng mentioned earlier, like we don't, we still aren't even really aware of like protein, carbs,
Yeah.
fats, and how to maintain a healthy diet, right? So really look into like building yourself up physically, right? Finding time to work out, eating the right foods, and then trying to grow mentally as a person and as an athlete. Because like I said earlier, way before when we just first started the show, is if you can't take care of yourself, right, you can't carry your own weight. You can't expect your teammate to carry your weight. I think we can all agree. So if you want to move forward and better the community, every individual start with yourself. Dedicate yourself, take care of your body, take care of your mental aspect game, and overall the message is take care of the things that you can take care of, right? So some things you can't, like you can't help that. I can't help that I'm only 5'7", 5'8". I can't help that I don't have longer arms, or I can't help that I wasn't born with like gifted abilities, but what I can do is make sure that I work my hardest. I keep I'm on top of my nutrition, my workout, and I'm always trying to develop myself. And then when it comes to like team stuff, it's like be a good teammate. I played, fortunately for me, I'm just surrounded by such good teammates. Shout out to the critical guys, and they help
I
me.
don't think Daniel would like playing on drifters then.
Truth be told, like I lost a lot in the game of volleyball, coming up playing, and at one point I was like, man, I'm done with this stuff, like this is going nowhere. But thankfully, Tou Xue, they reached out to me and said, hey dude, we need some players, we need some veteran guys, like come on board with us. And so I did, and like everything, as you all know, everything's just history. So be a good teammate, buy into the system. Too many times I see like younger guys hopping back and forth, right, trying to find that perfect team, or like trying to join the team at the right time. But hey, you have to build that. Like all the great teams like came from nothing. Came from just being like babies and losing and going through the growing pains. So buy into the system, trust the process. And then lastly, to kind of tie it to this whole conversation, is just, us older guys, from generation to generation, just pass on the wisdom, be like the cliche, be that change that you want to see. And if we want HVB to continue and to grow stronger and eventually expand to like, USA volleyball, club, or, overseas semi-pro, we need to pass on wisdom and be that voice and help our younger generations. So that'll be my opinion and my solutions on what would move us forward as a HVB community.
It's true. That's dope.
Damn good job, man.
Tou Xue, what's your opinion on that?
I mean, opinion to solve this. I mean, my opinion, I think it should be the next everybody somehow. Not to everybody. My opinion is, we have to meet halfway both ways. Parents, veterans, players, meet in the middle, and let our guard down a little bit. You as a young guy, absorb the sponges. Don't get emotionally tied to stuff that the veterans will say. Veterans, adjust a little bit. Don't come too harsh.
you got to understand that these kids these days didn't grow the way you were grow. They weren't taught the same way you were taught. You know, they weren't raised in a gangbang era.
Why are you trying to tell me I'm in your life?
Survive by yourself. but I mean, it's true, like in the early '90s and in the '90s and 2000s was the gangbang era. I'm not saying there's not none now, but it's not as much as it used to be. You know, so that thick skin that you develop are the veterans. You know, you develop those thick skins. These new kids don't. The young kids, the young generation, they don't develop. They haven't developed that, and most likely won't ever develop that. You know, so you know you gotta open up yourself and maybe adjust a little bit. Parents, you know, support your kids. I'm not gonna bash our parents or our older generation. You know, their goals is different from our goals now. We want to be better than they were, and if you're just gonna not support kids, you know, it's going backward. You're not going forward, and be better than it was the next generation. We halfway, you know, and if we want to keep this HVB alive, you know, we have to just kind of suck it up and just work with each other.
Yeah. Leng?
Pretty much what I can say again.
Leng?
Man, you know,
Thank you, Tou Xue, for that insight, man. That's deep. For real, though.
it is, man. You know, for me, Hmong Volleyball holds a special place for me, right? It's totally different from USAV. It's totally different from high school. It's totally different from AAU, you know, and for me, Hmong Volleyball is my life, right? It may be who I am right now, at this moment in time. Whatever I have right now is because of Hmong Volleyball. So it holds a special place for me. The question is, what's the solutions, right?
Yeah.
For me, is we got to make Hmong Volleyball special again, right? Especially to me, J4, right? Everyone knows that J4 is where Hmong Volleyball is at its peak, is what you want to do, is what you want to win, is where you want to go represent, is J4. But I don't feel that right now from people telling me, from me seeing YouTube videos of it. I don't feel like J4 Hmong Volleyball is the epitome of Hmong Volleyball. You know, I feel like Labor Day in Oshkosh, it used to be in Green Bay. I like it in Green Bay better, but Labor Day in Oshkosh is better than Minnesota J4 right now. I like I said, I haven't been there or haven't been watching in like 5 to 6 years, but that's how I see it. That's how the stories, or that's how people tell me that Minnesota J4 is just not the same. So I feel
it's because
like
of critical, that's why.
it might be. It might be. I haven't seen critical play.
I'm just kidding.
It might be. It might be Tou Xue and Daniel messing everything up. But you know, if we get Hmong Volleyball hype or interested or excited about Minnesota J4 again, I believe it will go a long way for Hmong Volleyball. That's like the first step I would probably do. The second step about Hmong Volleyball is what I challenge Wisconsin, right? It is for somebody to step up to the plate more than myself, more individuals like me, step up to the plate and willing to take on the younger kids and say, you know what, parents, you don't got to worry about no expenses whatsoever. I would pay for whatever and get your kid to these tournaments and feed them, room them, whatever. And I would take my time and we'll practice 4 days a week if it doesn't rain, whatever, and then go to the tournaments on the weekend. We need more individuals to come to step up to the plate and do that for the younger generation, because, you know, we can't do it for Daniel and Tou Xue's generation and Payne's generation anymore because they too old. They already have families.
Hey, man.
You know, they already have families. We gotta do it. We gotta do it so that our grandkids.
In my prime right now, man. My second prime right now.
Second prime. It's like those grandkids, our grandkids, kids, great grandkids, or great grandkids have a solid foundation moving forward in Hmong volleyball. I do not want to integrate Hmong volleyball with USAV or AAU or whatever, because I think Hmong volleyball is unique, right? It's unique to who we are and what we do as part of, I guess, the Hmong culture, right? It's unique to us. And if we keep Hmong volleyball separated with its own rules, its own policies, its own thing, I feel like that's another avenue that incentivizes kids to say, I want to be the best Hmong volleyball player, not like I want to be the best high school player. No, I use high school to be the best Hmong volleyball player because that's what I did. I played high school to be better in Hmong volleyball. I didn't care about high school ball. It was like, yeah, what I learned in high school, I'm going to use it in Hmong volleyball. So that's why Hmong volleyball to me holds a special thing. And I feel like we need to just keep it like that and make J4 again, and people to step up to the plate and help the younger generation to be better at Hmong volleyball. Expenses all paid, of course,
Hey, Leng, I'm all ears. I'm here, right? But I get the same way. You're willing to do it, for me,
Like I said, y'all too old, man. We need to make we need to lay the foundation for our great grandkids.
But for real,
like 2 years.
in my opinion, like like Will and I was having a conversation, he's asking how come HVB is dead, or some of that nature, and I told him, I was like, it's not really dead. There's just a lot more people playing. It's just a lot more. It's just they're not consuming Hmong volleyball the way that we do, right? In a serious manner, you know what I mean? They just like to play it just to play it, you know what I mean? They just want to play, not they don't want to be fucking all like serious and shit. Have a team and travel and all that shit. But there's a lot more people playing. Just they just consume it in a different manner. But my solutions, it's a lot more specific. Like at a local level, I would hope that we would lead up to these items. I wish we would have like a weightlifting program for our kids, right? Like teach them weightlifting, proper weightlifting. You know what I mean? Like with us, like if we went through some type of training or weightlifting training or whatever, like let's bring it back to our kids. Let's bring it back to our youth. Nutrition, like Daniel was talking about, all that, let's try to hit that at the grassroots level, try to hit them up at, at the age of 8, 9, 10 or whatever, skills academy, teach them basic stuff at a young age. Just having them compete at because Hmong volleyball, there's like no discretion at all. Like if you trying to play, you're playing with grown ass dudes. You know what I mean? Like if you're 16 years old, you just want to play Hmong volleyball, you playing with grown ass dudes, and they're gonna make you look silly, man. Like
they didn't make me look silly. I made them silly.
But I'm saying, like, I'm just taking lessons from what my son is going through, right? Like, this is my first go around with AAU stuff, right? Like basketball stuff, 17U, 16U, 15U, they all play in the age group. Whoever is a standout, go ahead, play it, play it a couple age higher, whatever, if you're a standout. But for the most part, it's all about development, right? You play at your same age group and you just develop. Like I said, weightlifting, skills academy, play your age group, and I think the minimum, right, for each of us, for our youth, is to at least make your local volleyball team, like your local high school volleyball team or middle school team. That should be your minimum, because if you can't even make that team, then that means you don't have enough discipline. You don't have enough structure. You don't have enough training. You get what I'm saying? Like that's the minimum right there. Like if you can't make that, then you should not even. Because when I was growing up, I was like, if I can't make my high school volleyball team, I should not even be playing Hmong volleyball. Because that if I can make my high school team, then that means I'm good enough to at least play at Hmong volleyball. Because I held Hmong volleyball higher than my high school team, right? So like, because you're playing against grown ass dudes, whereas in high school you're playing against kids your age. You know what I mean? So how are you not gonna make that team and you're trying to play Hmong volleyball? And it's gonna be a lot harder. You know what I mean? So those are my solutions, man. Like catch them at the grassroots level. You like our age. Who the hell cares, man? You know what I mean? Like we've been through the grinder.
Sponsor you, Peg.
We've been through the grinder, but it's us. It's us that needs to make that change. Like we, like my son, right? Like I'm not putting him through ankle weights and running with ankle weights. Like he's with the trainer. You know what I mean? He's with the trainer. He's training, doing sprints and all these, different machines and whatnot. That's what he's doing. Like it should not be like, hey man, we're just gonna put on ankle weights. We're gonna jump all day. Like like
that don't work no more.
Theoretically, like how does that even work? You know what I'm saying?
That don't work no more.
You know what I'm saying? So like weightlifting and all that, we got to bring that back. Like I know a lot of us have knowledge on that. We got to bring that back to our youth, right? Get them involved in that. Just skills academy. Like whether we like it or not, we have. Like I said, some of these kids nowadays, like I told them, I've been playing longer than you guys have ever existed. You know what I mean? If you don't listen to me, then you ain't gonna listen to nobody. You know what I'm saying? So the skills academy, we got to bring it back. To we got to start it at age 8, 6. 8. I think 8. 8, 9, 10, or whatever. Whatever
The younger you could get them, the better.
Right. Because if you get them middle school ready, you already got the attitude. You know what I mean? But you start them, a little bit younger than middle school, then you might be able to kind of inspire them and get them to kind of catch on, hook on. So those are my specific solutions. It starts at a local level. It don't start. It ain't got to be nothing big, man. It just got to be like, hey, get this little kid, and we're just gonna do some sprints or some stairs or some body squats or some push-ups. You know what I mean? That's it. You know what I mean? Like or box jumps or whatever. You know what I mean? So those are my solutions. And then because to be honest, like our goal as Hmong volleyball players, it should be to get our kids into club volleyball, because that's where all the competition is. And we're, like I said with one of our episodes, we're not only competing with our physicality, we're competing like money wise. We don't have, we can never beat like Mikada. We can never beat them in terms of money wise, right? But if we have enough guys to turn back and be like, hey, I got this home gym, like let's bring these kids here and I'm gonna work these kids out like 1 hour every other day or whatever. You get what I'm saying? Like that's where it's gonna work. Like it's not gonna work. Hey man, you can't be like you gotta be this. Like it would never work because you can't get everybody like on that same page. You know what I mean? You gotta get like because some parents are like, hey, like they need help too. You get what I'm saying? You don't know what they're going through. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're willing to go through that stuff, then you got to be willing to be like, let me get your kid, like Leng, like you said, let me get your kid for like an hour. That's it. An hour, dude. An hour.
Yep.
An hour 30, whatever. An hour 30, every other day. We weight lift and then we skills, we do skills. Weight lift skills. That's all it takes, dude. At that young age, that's all it takes. It does not take 8 hours a day, dude. You know what? That's one thing that I regret. You get what I'm saying? When I was that age, I was like, man, I'm gonna go hard.
10
man.
hours.
I'm gonna
go 10 hours
all
today.
day, bro. I'm gonna skip school and everything. Like, dude,
10
man.
hour day.
It's like I
I'm
got
gonna do a
hip
10-hour
problems.
day.
I got
Yep.
knee issues. I got back
Yep.
issues, ankle issues at
Yep.
age of 36, bro. Like,
Yep.
I don't need that. Like,
I'm doing it 2 a day for 10 hours.
yeah, you
Yeah,
get what I'm
I'm
saying?
good.
Like it's not worth it. You know what I mean?
Yep, it is not, man.
But if you teach
Totally
these
not.
kids at a young age, like weightlifting, just fundamentals, just nutrition, and all that, and it goes a long way. You know what I mean? Just to get these kids at a young age, when they turn 13, 14, to be able to make that high school team, that goes a long way. You know what I mean? And that should be our goal. Like from like the age 8 to like age 14, right? To get them
Like I said,
ready
I'm willing to do
make
it
that
in
high school
2022,
team.
man.
Yeah.
2022. Calling
but
out
we're-
all Wisconsin.
But if we're already catching them like at their senior year, like
It's
like
too
there's
old.
already
Development
It's
already
over.
development already there. It's already done.
yeah.
Especially
So-
that guys, the body don't develop as great after 18.
Right. Yeah. I mean, well, any questions from the audience? Probably honestly.
They probably like falling asleep unless they're Cali. Cali's still kind of early.
Like 1 o'clock, right? Is it?
Yeah, Cali's still kind of early. Midwest here, they probably knocked out already.
I gotta wake up like in 3 hours, go to work.
Shoot,
Yeah.
my brother Meg's gonna come work in my house in about 6 hours. So
Yeah, I mean, you know what? With that being said, like we can close in on that note. I just want to thank Daniel. Thanks for coming on and giving your insight, your experiences, and all that. Tou Xue, Leng, of course. Hey man, I just want to thank you guys for just kind of giving your input. Any last words from you guys, Daniel?
Yeah, hey bro, I just want to say thanks, man. Thanks for inviting me, having me, and just kind of giving me the opportunity to just spread some knowledge, and hopefully whoever that watched this can just walk away with something positive. Again, pick an audience. We don't know everything, so I'm just talking from my experience. So again, thank you guys, and then pretty much just a last message for the youth. Again, it just starts with you, man. If you have fire, you have drive, you'll find a way to overcome any obstacles that you may face, But if you don't have that fire, that drive, then you're just gonna fall behind. That goes with everything we do in life. So all the young guys, I'm not that much older, but hey, just continue to be great, continue to exploit all the resources that are available to you, and just continue to thrive, to be great in whatever you do.
Yeah. Tou Xue, any last words?
Yeah, honest. Yeah, all you guys I think we are training a little bit slower than I thought we would have, but we're all training to the right path. Look for further ways to grow as a whole community. Like I said earlier, just be a sponge, guys, everybody, and just be sponge, soak up, believe in wherever it's gonna come your way, and pretty much is it. And to come up with what Leng said about J4 not being as hype as it should be, you know, I think I came up with a solution. We need to hire a story video guy who's going to hype us with commercials like how they do with boxing, right? That's what we need, right? So we need any Hmong or whoever that could record and make commercials and really good with filming, man. We need some of these type of, you know,
Yeah,
that's the time, you know.
for sure.
I think that might work.
Yeah, you know, we're in the age of digital, and you know,
Yeah.
that's how the word's gonna go. Like, it's not gonna see you, but then when you start seeing the hype videos, you know, the preview of what could happen, you know, and rise and fall, the rise and the comeback of one team to another, you know,
Yeah.
shit, you know, I mean, who knows?
Yeah, who knows, right? Next year, 2022, is the 25th year anniversary of Drifters winning J4. Who knows? Drifter might show up in 2022, right?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
And compete. I know, Lord have mercy on that one.
They
Shoot,
would
they will show up without me, put it that way. I won't show up trying to compete. I'll show up to watch. But yeah, a hype video, man. I mean, like that would do something for
Like, I
J4.
totally wanted to do it, but I don't have the skills to do it. I'll try to do it for us, but for critical guys, I'm like, this is out of my knowledge. I'm not gonna try to do it.
Hey,
I need
those
Gilbert to come back.
those flyers are not hitting anymore, huh? It just don't feel. You guys don't feel those flyers anymore. We need videos now, right?
Yeah, we
Digital age.
Yeah.
It's digital age right now.
Yeah.
All right.
No. We don't have anybody who does it yet. Those commercials, hey, it's the change. I'm just saying, you know,
Yeah.
we got to utilize the platform, man, and do something like that.
You gotta get Daniel on it, man. He seems pretty young. He seems pretty knowledgeable.
Nah, man. If the opportunity to win J4 doesn't motivate you, then you shouldn't go to a tournament.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely not. I think J4 is not as hype as it used to be because that became another tournament. That's why. I think not much has changed from wherever, so it just has become another tournament. So let's figure a way to hype that up, you know, and you know, we could do that, you know, maybe that'll be our summer Olympic game. You know, I mean, shoot, our youth, our kids are looking at videos 90% of the time, you know. They're on their phone, and we are too, and the more traction we get, you know, doesn't matter where. We could get that, you know. I think that could be a motivation to anybody. Just not just ball, whatever it is. I mean, like that girl, Sonisha, you know, the Hmong, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, they're doing a hype up video, and everybody's showing her everywhere. She's all over my page, social media.
I know I'm not good at that.
we need to find one, all right? I know we have a lot.
I could barely run Zoom.
I feel you. I know what pay. Feel you.
Leng, any last words, Leng?
Oh,
30
man,
seconds, bro.
All right, 30 seconds. Last words is, man, again, I want to thank you and your brother, Will and Pang, right here, for creating this platform, man. I mean, like you said, the original first episode was this platform was made for these roundtable talks when we get together, right? And it's never documented. It's never so that generations after us could see the grassroots, the foundation of Hmong Volleyball, where we came from. So I want to thank you, you two again for allowing us to have this platform, right? And again, I want to challenge again. I say 16 and under for Wisconsin. I'm challenging Wisconsin right now. 2022, hit me up. I want 8 players, right?
Disclaimer: we don't know if he's drunk or not, so
I am not drunk. I am not. This is legit. 2022 from May.
All questions and inquiries. Go take the plane.
Yeah. 2022, man, for real. I'm gonna make this happen from May until end of September. I'm willing to put in the time and money to make it happen. So hit me up on that. Right. So and I believe Hmong Volleyball, man, we could take it to the next level but it just takes commitment,
Yeah.
you know, from parents, from players, you know, and people willing to step up to make that next step,
Mm-hmm.
you know, next move in it.
Yep.
So
There's got to be a level of conviction,
yeah.
definitely, you know.
How
But
do you sign up? Like,
Was that?
how do you sign up?
He
Like I
wants-
said, man, y'all a little bit too far, man. A little bit too far to make it happen.
No. How
You
about,
know.
like, just for the
What
audience,
if,
like
what if the
serious-
average
serious.
age is 19?
I need 16 and under, man. Catch them younger, remember? Catch them younger.
All right, man. There y'all have it. I think these dudes are ready to go to sleep.
I don't know about Tou Xue and Daniel, man. They on the West Coast, man.
Nice
early
to you
Who's
over
that?
here.
It's
Nice
10
to you
o'clock
over
yet. Yeah.
It's early over there, man.
I'm gonna clock into work.
I
All right,
I
man.
gotta-
One thing for Tou Xue and Daniel, man. I hope to see him in Wausau, though.
Yes.
You know, for real. I have never seen them play in real life. You know,
Sorry
saw
to break it to you,
videos.
Ryan, but I won't be there. So
You'll be able to
you can critique.
because
You can
we're
critique.
hopefully wait.
You go ahead and you critique Tou Xue. I'm gonna just play defense, huh? Yeah. I don't like playing defense when he's playing that role, man.
But that
Anyway,
you know, in his interview, he said he was all about defense, right?
Yes.
I appreciate.
I'll let you be the judge.
All right, I'll be the judge. I'll
I'll let you be the judge in a couple weeks. Unfortunately, yeah, I'm not coming. Like I said, I'm not, over here. And to be honest, I just got kind of lazy and I haven't been training and do any of that. So I'm not gonna come
see you
there
next time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get him to go, but man.
Yeah.
Because now I have to play defense. Because
defense is easy when Daniel's blocking, right?
it's easy.
Yeah.
When I have to actually try, I'm like, dang it, now I have to try, and that's gonna hurt. At my size, my weight, and my age, it's gonna hurt.
But
Awesome,
we definitely got to get Daniel back on the
Daniel, you got to come
show.
back on.
Yeah, and tell your story.
All
I don't think I saw. I don't think I heard his story yet.
Yeah,
Right.
we got to get him on yet. Tou Xue, thank you for joining us again. And Leng's a regular, man.
A regular, man. Like, you know me, man. I'm passionate about this.
Leng's that dude. You go to a local bar, man. Leng's that dude. You just
I'm that dude.
sitting at that bar.
I'm that dude, man.
Hey, there he is.
I get a
There he
sleep
is.
all day when I go with the 2 days, man. We gotta hang out at least one day.
We do, man. We do.
But Tou Xue, we'll see you
Next week.
in a couple weeks here.
Couple weeks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
Yeah, we'll see you in a couple weeks. But hey, there y'all have it. What episode is it? Episode 22. Take it for what it's worth. We're trying our best out here. We had Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. Tou Xue,
Yes, sir.
Leng. For all of us, man. Peace, man.
Hey, hold on. Let me do a quick shout out before we go, man. Hey, I just want to wish Peng a happy birthday. Today, Peng finally turned 21.
21, Peng. Legal, Peng.
Today, July 17th.
Legal. Congrats. Happy birthday.
And then one more thing, man. Bucks in 6, baby.
Fuck Bucks, man.
Bucks not in 6.
Fuck them Bucks, bro. Man, it's Chicago.
Hey, Leng.
Suns in 7.
Hey, Leng.
Suns in 7.
I better not see you at the parade, man, when the Bucks win, dude.
Hey, anybody that knows me, I'm a bandwagon jumper, man. Bandwagon jumper.
You and Will, man. Dude, Chicago born, Chicago native. Talking about Bucks and 6, man. Fuck that, dude.
Okay, hey, let's ask the panel. Let's do a quick prediction real quick. Daniel, who you got? Daniel, who you got?
I got Bucks and 7.
Bucks and 7. Lane already got Suns and 7, man.
Suns and 7, man. NBA needs revenue. NBA needs the revenue. It's rigged.
Tou Xue, who you got?
Bucks and 6.
Bucks and 6, baby.
Middleton going 50. All right, Middleton. Middleton.
Oh,
My guy, Middleton is
oh,
going to thumbs up.
I got
oh.
Suns, man. I got
Suns
Suns.
in 6.
Suns and whatever, man. Suns gonna
Seven,
win.
Peg. The NBA needs the revenue.
6.
It's all
Bucks
money.
in 6. And I'm gonna see Leng on the fucking parade, dude. We're gonna be in Milwaukee, down State Street, man.
You know, my boy. If the Bucks do win, my boy's probably gonna make me go to the parade because he's all about Giannis. You know,
I'll bring my Bucks jersey up in Wisconsin.
Leng and I, man, we're gonna be on State Street and we're gonna be all up in the parade. Dude. Trust me.
All right, man. There you have it. Hey, to the next episode, guys. Hey, thanks a lot.
Thanks,
Peace.
guys. Have a good one.